Happy Monday, everybody, from Nashville, Illinois. We're starting a half an hour early tonight. Big week. We have the president of the Northwest Ohio Tractor Pullers, the biggest poll in the world, not even argued, Chris Aldrich, owner of Toledo Aerial Media. And if you haven't seen Behind the Hook Season 1 and Season 2 yet, you need to go check it out. Chris, where's the best place they can find that?
Well, you can find that on the National Tractor Pulling Championships YouTube page. Seasons 1 and 2 are live on there right now.
Awesome. So, big week for us. The Pullers Championship. It's year number 3 for us. It's our event. It's our outdoor Louisville. I think I always try to say it that way when I explain to people what we try to do. We invite the top competitors from PPL, NTPA, and the Outlaws, and then they have until the end of the year to accept their invite, and then the rest of it's filled in by fan votes. And we have over 100 hooks. Our modified class is a little light, semis, and our diesel super stock tractors because of parts and farming, but we all know how that goes in pulling. But excited to have everybody on tonight. Let us know where you're watching from tonight. Let us know if you go to Bowling Green and how many years you've been going. I'm joined by Mike Idle tonight. He'll be on the microphone with Dan Mayer and Chris Clark this Friday and Saturday in Nashville, Illinois. Of course, he's a co-host of Let's Grow Pulling. Mackenzie Teeding, our great Kenzie. She's always with us, helping us out. She's one of the loyal beer. She's the best beer money employee. But we're super excited tonight.
The
coolest. We have Chris join us and Dave Schultz. Dave and I are not related, even though it'd be super cool to say I was related to the president of the Northwest Ohio Tractor Pullers, a.k.a. Bowling Green, Ohio, Pull Town. How many other nicknames, Dave, does your awesome event have?
Pull Town is basically the one that everybody knows us by. I mean, it's amazing. And the biggest thing is, whenever you go any place and anybody talks about it, it's just Bowling Green. Everybody says, they can't believe that it's just, that name. I mean, it's not the National Tractor Pulling Championships. It's not Pull Town. We are referred more by Bowling Green than anything else.
We joke about it a lot, but Dave, when you don't have to mention the state, you just say the town. Your pull is a destination pull. Obviously, Bowling Green is a destination. I think you said it best in one of your Behind the Hooks. We threw a tractor pull, or we had a party and the tractor pull happened. How did you say that in your thing?
It was we had a party and a tractor pull broke out.
Yeah, tractor pull broke out. Yeah, that's right.
But you gotta have something for the people to do other than at the pull, and that's one of the things we pride ourselves on is there's enough things to do to keep people there for a whole week.
Yep. No, absolutely. What are the dates on it again this year?
Oh God, you're going to ask me that? I can tell you how many days till we get there.
Yeah. You always have a countdown on your website.
Yeah, 93 days, 22 hours, 54 minutes, and 50 seconds. It's August 15th, 16th, 17th.
When do they do the running of the chairs?
We actually don't do that anymore. This last year was the last year that we walked the chairs in, and the people were able to pick their spot. And this year they were actually able to reserve that spot. Oh, okay. So there is no more walking of the chairs, running of the chairs. They'll be able to, the Monday before, we'll set a time that they can come in and actually set their chairs down. Don't have to wait in line anymore. We had a problem last year. The day after the county fair, which is 2 weeks before our pull, people came and got in line to put their chairs out the week before. People sat in line for a week to go put their chairs out. And it caused a lot of problems with the fair board, and they couldn't get their cleanup done. So it was like, okay, we need to change this. And so we came up with this, and so far the fans seem to like it.
It sounds like something from Black Friday, to get that $100 big screen TV you kept outside all night long. So.
But how cool is your fan base when you have people showing up 2 weeks before to put their chairs out?
It's the coolest. It's the coolest. I've had people, they have their beer pong tables set up in their garages. They're practicing. They're getting a lot of stuff ready. We get a lot of fun stuff like that. Dave sent to us on Facebook. So it's a good time. All right, the best beard on the program tonight, Chris Aldrich. Round of applause there for Chris.
Thank you.
Owner of Toledo.
I don't have a lot of competition, so that's fine.
I'm trying.
Mackenzie, don't face from here.
Sorry.
I was just lazy.
Dave's working a nice stash.
Yeah.
So Chris, how long have you had your beard?
Oh, this is always a question, and my default used to be about 2 years, but I think I'm getting closer to 3 years now, so I should start going to 3.
Oh. Last time I was totally clean shaven, May 9th, 1991.
How does one remember that specifically, Mr.
Because on May 8th, I was burning a gasoline explosion and burned it all off because mine was almost as big as Chris's.
See, that's fair. That's a good memory. Now we know that.
So,
Thanks.
I love it. I love it. Chris, Toledo Aerial Media. I apologize. I've been saying Toledo Air Media in all of our promos last week. Excited to have you on. Behind the Hook, one of the best, well-produced videos ever. You've really taken it to that next level. Truly, what truck and tractor pulling deserves. So, as a fan, as a whatever we are, we just love the sport. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for going to Marengo, Iowa. I was born in Marengo, Iowa. I'm actually the home of Travis Slagh on the Bone Twister.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to get a billboard when interest rates go down a little bit and I'm making good money again as a mortgage lender. I'm going to say the birthplace of Jason Schultz and the home of Travis Slagh, Bone Twister. Have real fun with it. Marengo, Iowa. So
look at that. Yeah, that's an awesome fact.
Such cool. And Dave, you pipe in whenever you want. But how did this work? Tonight's all about the unveil of season 3, but we got to tease you a little bit, right? It's like The Bachelor. Got to have 10 good-looking chicks or 20 or whatever. Tonight I present you 4 dudes and Kenzie, but we're gonna do the best we can because the next best
did you just drop a Bachelor reference on a tractor pulling podcast? That's the breaking news. Jason Schultz watches The Bachelor.
Jason does not watch The Bachelor. I'm just trying to have some fun with it. There he is. Stu's checking in tonight. We call him the king of the Bowling Green campgrounds. He watches every one of our podcasts. A lot of fun. He's the one who sends us all the fun pictures. So, Chris, how did you guys put this together? Kind of give us a history, and then we're going to show you who season 3 is. This is so cool. I've seen the video, you people. It's freaking awesome. It's freaking awesome. And Dave Schultz picked up the music. I'm supposed to say that.
Yeah. So there you go, Dave. There's your shout. Yeah. So it goes back to 2017 when we started working with the National Tractor Pulling Championships. I like to tell people that we were not pulling fans, but we've been adopted by the pulling community now. And one of the big things we always wanted to do after we realized how much there was in the pulling world is take people behind the scenes, beyond that product that everybody sees on the track. And we took inspiration from shows like Hard Knocks. We discussed that last time I was on, but that genre of show has really taken off, especially in the last 2 or 3 years. And it's no coincidence that we're now producing content like that, and the pulling community is responding favorably. So, we're here tonight to announce what teams we're going to be featuring on season 3. But we have season 1 and season 2, as I mentioned earlier. They're already live. They're on the National Tractor Pulling Championship YouTube channel right now, and you can watch those and get caught up.
Yeah. Well, and when Chris and Toledo Aerial came to us, and we started talking about doing this. I mean, when we first started working with Toledo Aerial, we had no intentions and never even thought about doing something like this. And so, it was just one of those. We started talking about it. I know myself, I love the whole, how it's made, behind the scenes thing, and the board really bought into the whole process. So that's why, it's gone as well as it has. And, and the videography and the production is just second to none.
It's through the roof. It's legit. You should do this for a living, Aldrich. What do you think? Get a job or something.
I think I might do that.
You think you might do that? Chris, do you have are you a smoke guy or are you a spark plug guy?
Ooh, smoke. I'm saying smoke.
Saying smoke? That boy. I like that a lot. Hey, Kenzie, you're my. Who's Joe Rogan's assistant? Jesse, or who's the guy that always finds all of his stuff?
I don't remember.
Go find those links from season 1 and season 2 at the NTPC YouTube and put those in the comments so people can go back and watch those, and we'll share those later. So how do we, how did you guys pick the pullers for season 1? How did you pick the pullers for season 2? How did you pick the pullers for season 3? And then I say we unveil the video, Chris. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to let Dave take the reins on this because, the board really collects up the names every year. We kind of give them our wish list in terms of criteria, the types of people we would like to feature, and they take it from there and bring us back some names.
What we do is we sit down, in one of our board meetings, and we just start throwing names out. It's, geez, have we thought about this person? Have we thought about that person? We look at who has a good story behind them. Last year with the Theobalds, it's a family. I mean, it's starting out with a grandfather and then a son and daughter-in-law and then grandsons. We looked at it going, oh, this is a perfect story. So that's how we kind of pick it. Is there a good story behind this person? Is it a person that we think would be willing to do it? That's one of the things we call them ahead of time going, hey, are you willing to do it? Because, I mean, in the first year, it was like people didn't know what we were doing. Now it was like, this year was the easiest. I made the phone call and they said, oh, sure, we're in. And so, we just kind of look at who's got the best story out there of we might think people would like. And it was a long list. I mean, there were the first cut, there was probably 15 different teams out there. And then we just kind of whittled it down to the 3, and we'd love to do more.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, well, I mean, Chris is already working on season 4. We talked about that off air. He's super excited about that.
We've actually committed to more seasons of it. So
good.
This isn't going away after 3.
No, it shouldn't. It's amazing. It's so good for the sport too.
Yeah.
Dave, are you giving a wristband to Chris and Toledo Aerial Media so they can hang with us in the campground? See, the problem is too, they actually want them to work there. They need to fly their drones and stuff like that. We can't have the drones on alcohol poisoning.
Nope.
Dave, the coolest thing I've ever read about Pool Town, Bowling Green, somebody actually commented, it's my 1 week a year where I relax. Now you think about that. All the people, the partying, the 5-engine modifieds in limited class, it's their 1 week a year where they relax. That meant a lot to me. It really, because I tried to read the comments, and it's always fun to respond to comments. And that one really, every now and then, kind of one of them kind of gives you a goosebumps, Dave, or it catches you. When you hear that kind of a comment as president of the Blue Shirts, how's that make you feel?
It makes me feel proud that all of the Blue Shirts make this kind of impression on putting on the best product out there. And, it takes every single one of the Blue Shirts to make it happen. So when I hear comments like that, when I'm, traveling and I'll have a Bowling Green shirt on and they'll go, man, I have such a good time. It just makes me feel proud to be part of it. That's the big thing is, just being part of it. Doesn't matter if, what position you have. It's just being part of the biggest thing out there. It makes you proud. It really does.
It should, because it's amazing. Because everybody's heard of Bowling Green. Because I always wear my beer money pulling team stuff when I travel, just because I want to talk to people about truck and tractor pulling. And I get a lot of, because I always say, have you ever heard of Bowling Green, Ohio? That's what I always say. They're like, yeah. And I go, did you hear it because of truck and tractor pulling or something else? It's always because of truck and tractor pulling. So it's pretty cool. How big is Bowling Green without the people there that week? What's the average population there?
I think it's 40,000.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. So we double the size of the town when we roll in and get everything set up with all the people.
Yeah, my first year out there was 2016, and the supermarkets told me that they actually clear out the rows of other things just to put beer and alcohol down the middle.
I've wondered about that before. Advanced.
I took a picture at the local Kroger store the one year, and they had skids of beer in the aisle. It was just lined up.
No need to put it on the shelf when it's going straight to the cart in the cooler. They're like, hey, let's just make this. We'll skip the middleman here. We know where this is going. There's a discount if you just buy the pallet.
Yep. And we have people go there to buy beer, and then Kroger sells tickets for us. So they buy their tickets and they come on in.
You hear a lot of the economic impacts that an event like this will have on a community and the surrounding communities, Dave. But it's really good to see everybody get involved. The write-ups that that Bowling Green gets and all the different the publicity, it's perfect. It's newsworthy, and it's really good to get all that out there. I love it. I absolutely love it.
The news media comes in and they look at it. In 2013, we did an economic impact study, and back then, in the most conservative numbers, it was $37 million economic impact to the community, and that was in 2013. So it's well over 50 million now. It's got to be.
Yeah, especially with this inflation alone.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to know like what percent that is that week plays in like the total, and I don't know how to say this, I'm not an economist, but like the total years like profit for the community or the economic, does Bowling Green, does that 37 million represent 10%, 20%? I mean, are you guys doing all that for the community just right there in that 1 week? That'd be a neat number to know. I bet it's up there.
And and we have that, and we also have college move-in. The poor town of Bowling Green gets hammered that weekend.
Yeah, they do.
And
literally.
Yeah.
So we're gonna play the video. Literally, we're gonna play the video here in a second. I want to know why. I want you to type in the comments why you love Bowling Green and who you want to see on season 4 or season 5 or season 6 or season 17 of Behind the Hook. So,
hey,
Chris,
Jason, I got a correction.
Okay.
It's basically 30,000 people. I was 10,000 off.
Okay, 30,000 people. That's a couple. That's a couple. That's awesome. That is awesome. Kenzie, we got to get some sound effects. Drum roll, don't you think, or something like that? Okay, perfect. Here we go. Oops, I got the wrong. Got to get the wrong size here. I don't want Chris to be mad at me. This is a special. Here we go. Let's try this again. All right, season 3 Behind the Hook premieres right now. Well, this is who's going to be on it. I should talk properly. How about that? So this is an awesome video. Enjoy.
The innovator and absolute motorsports legend, Ken Meeting. Simon Says Motorsports, led by brothers RJ and Brandon Simon. And whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, real tough break here for Travis Slagh.
I told you that miracles happen at BG, and it just did.
Behind the Hook, Season 3, coming 2025. The horsepower. The spectacle.
Here comes
The sportsmanship.
And we're all friends, but when it comes to pull time on the track, everybody is out to beat the other guy.
Truck and tractor pulling, one of the most powerful motorsports on the planet. What does it take to get a pulling vehicle down the track? Behind the Hook brings you an exclusive journey alongside your favorite pullers, all the way from their shops to the pinnacle event of the sport, the National Tractor Pulling Championships in Bowling Green, Ohio. This season, we follow 3 new teams and drivers. Kevin Masterson and the Grandview Gangsters. The innovator and absolute motorsports legend, Ken Meeting. Simon Says Motorsports, led by brothers RJ and Brandon Simon. And whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, real tough break here for Travis Slagh.
I told you that miracles happen at BG, and it just did.
Behind the Hook, Season 3, coming 2025.
Let's go. I didn't have the volume up the first time. I am a putz. This is what happens when I try to take over. I should have let you run the show. So I apologize. Chris, that is awesome, dude. That music, I got my headset on. That was awesome, buddy. That was awesome. That guy's voice that does your voiceovers, he's cool. That's some Barry Manilow right there. I like that guy.
He's great.
That is so good for the sport of truck and tractor pulling. If that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will. Masterson, he is that's a top 5 absolute talked about puller. That tractor, he lost his dad a couple years ago. Yep. I got to interview him, Chris, down at Chapel Hill for Full Pull, and it was heartwarming, like to sit there with him. We did a full pull chats with him, and it's nice to know it's Ken Vini instead of Venny. I've always said Venny. Your guy said Vini, so that was good. I learned that as well. And then Simons, absolutely the biggest name in pulling right now. They have a vehicle for every class. They're awesome. You know what I mean?
When we were telling Chris about it, and I said we want to do the Simons. He goes, well, which one? And I said all of them, and all I heard was oh.
BG was my first ever pull as a 5-year-old kid in '87. I'm still hooked. I love you guys on social media games behind the scenes. Way to go. That's awesome. And then cool. My hero of season 2, Travis, the Bone Twister. Great pick. Can't wait to see the show. That was so cool that you guys went to Marengo, Iowa.
Yep.
Hang out with my buddy Travis. Super cool. I just want to take you guys off and just put that on repeat and let this play for like an hour. That video so good. That is so cool. Fans, let us know. Masterson, Vini, Simons, who are you excited to hear about? Which one are you excited to see? How long? So you said it's coming in 2025, Chris. Obviously, this isn't something you just whip together in a day. Obviously, they'll come to BG and then you follow them home, or how do you guys handle this? What do you do?
No, we'll interact with them all before BG. More than likely, it'll be more than once even. Sometimes we interact with them after BG as well. So it kind of depends on their schedule throughout the season and what we need for the production. So, but yeah, we'll probably interact with each team at least one other event as well. So we like to tell the story of them up to BG, and then if you've watched any of the other episodes, we kind of fill out the rest of the story too, like what happened with them for the rest of the season as well.
No, that's good stuff. Good stuff. Dave, are you happy with the picks?
Oh yeah, yep. I'm excited. I mean, all 3 of them they're so different, so it's just so cool. Myself, with Ken Vini. I mean, I used to watch him when I was a little kid with his Vega funny car, and when he was Daryl Gwynn's, crew chief back, in the late 90s. So, I mean, he's been a hero of mine since I was a little kid. So, being able to tell his story is going to be really cool. And with Brandon and RJ, I just can't even think of where this is going to go with that many vehicles and what it's going to take. I mean, I can guarantee that's probably going to be the longest episode.
Chris, when you get next to Brandon, I know you don't normally get on there, but you have to get up next to Brandon's beer because like RJ and Brandon, they're brothers, and they both want to win, but they are the 2 most different human beings you're ever going to talk to. I would rather eat a paper bag and talk to Brandon Simon half the time because he's always just picking on me. He says like 2 words, and you can never get anything out of him. But RJ and I together, we could talk for 17 days. It's a hoot. It's an absolute hoot. They're such a blend of their dad, is what a lot of people have told me. But they both have the passion to win, and whatever they do, they want to be part of it. And then Ken Vini, that's just huge. The crossover, Chris and Dave, that you'll have there from the drag racing world, because Ken still is a legend in drag racing.
Yes.
So you're doing that crossover, that drag racing fan to the pulling fan. That's what I'm excited about. It's just awesome. Absolutely. And then Masterson's, you're never going to meet a more humble guy, Chris, ever. Yep. And he's super quiet, super reserved. I told him when I did his interview at Chapel Hill, I said, listen, I'm not leaving your trailer until you do the interview. And I just sat down. And he gave up after 5 minutes because he knows how I am. He's like, I'm not leaving.
Yep.
I'm not leaving. Super.
Well, we don't settle for a few words. We'll put him in front of the cameras and he's going to talk. So Well, we have some ways to get people talking.
Well, that's great. That is great. I love how you mixed it up too. There's so many storylines in there. I get excited. Mike, so when you think Vinzini, what's your first thought there? What do you expect to see from behind the hook season 3 from Ken?
Was that to me? Sorry.
Mike Idol, sorry.
Oh.
So when I think of Ken, the first memory, I mean, just comes straight forward. 2022 at Fort Recovery, Ohio. NTPA really shied away a long time from the really long runs. The outlaw guys, I keep pointing backwards. My camera's reversed. The outlaw guys, they really embraced the 350, 60, 70, 80, hooks a long time ago. And then PPL went to a floating finish, but NTPA kind of held on to the pull off and was really married to the 300-foot mark for a long time. First time I went to Bowling Green, Ohio, of course, we've seen Ken Vini run many times and he's dominant. He's like the 7th hook, and he pulls the sled it's over 400. It was an NTPA pull, and he pulled it like 401 feet. He almost hit the barrels, and he had to get out of the throttle. 27 mini rods. The announcer, I think Doc was announcing, he said, "Fans, don't blame me. I'm just the announcer." We were like 7 or 8 deep, and he goes, "We're gonna have to reset the sled."
I remember that time.
Obviously. So Ken's waiting in the wings. Ken goes 401 feet, and then he's got to reset it. He's waiting in the wings. We rehook all 26 of them. And this was a year of stud mini rods. I mean, there always is a bunch of good ones, but that year was stacked. And he comes back, and it's like this huge party crowd goes quiet. It's like a scene out of Hoosiers or something, because Vini's going to run again, and he's got to beat, I don't know, 340, 350. They were still punching him out there. He goes 390. He goes 390 and a walk-off win on the 2nd hook. And me being me, I'm like, I got to go talk to him, So I've never met the guy. He doesn't know me from Adam. I'm like sprinting over to his trailer, half fired up, been in the cooler all afternoon. I'm having a good time, bouncing off the walls. And I was like, "Hey, Mr. Vini, please tell me about your run. What was going through your mind?" And he just quietly kind of shuffles to the back of the trailer, brings me out a hero card, and he said, "I knew I had the motor. It'd just be a matter of not if we had the tires. I had a separate set of tires. I wanted to try them. I was curious." And just as quiet, just all this confidence. And it's just, he is a professional. He's a winner, and he's a perfectionist is my opinion of Ken Vini.
Yeah, and he still wants to win. He still wants to win.
Yeah.
And he's super competitive. He's super competitive. Chris, the rest of us have audio. I'm not sure what's going on there, buddy, on your end. Maybe your drones, or you get 17 drones hovering over your house from Toledo Aerial Media. Kenzie, Mastersons. I know you love the Mastersons. What gets you excited about them? Seeing them? What do you want to hear? What do you want to see from behind the hook season 3 from the Masterson camp?
Just everything. Super cool guy. I was last farm show. He actually said hi to me first, and I was pretty impressed.
Oh, RJ Simon nodded to me at the farm show, and that's how I knew that I had made it in the world of truck and tractor pulling, that I was somebody. I was walking by just in the outside getting some popcorn, and I awkwardly met eyes with RJ, and he gives me one of those, and I'm like, oh, he knows, he knows, so I was like, RJ Simon, just so I get it, Kenzie, they said hi to you, we're in, we're good.
Kenzie, say that again. I wanted to make you big on the screen. So so Kevin said hi to you before you said hi to him?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I
love you.
I don't know what to say. I was like, holy crap.
But pullers, this is what you mean to fans. I mean, this is a perfect example of that. What you mean to the fans. Mike ran out of the stands to see Ken Vini. And then Chris, the one thing, I don't know if Chris, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Aldrich? He can't. He's definitely can't hear me. All right. I'm going to go to Dave. Dave, the backup girls, Rona always backing up Ken, and that comes from drag racing. If you guys can somehow bring that back a little bit and have some fun with that would be cool. And that
would be cool. I remember when she'd back him in, and then she'd run out, and she'd just wave, come in. She'd go running down the track, and that was just always so cool to see. When they do back up, Need to get back into doing that.
She told the story one time. He was nervous. It was like his first pull ever, and the one thing he hadn't thought about was, how do I, manage to this big beast and get back there? And so he's like, you're going to have to go out there and hook me in. And so she's guiding him in and everything. And then to her tell it, the running thing was never a planned deal. She gets out there at the end of at the track, gets him backed in, realizes that her way she got in there is blocked or something like that. There's a tech official, and she's like, they're getting ready to pull, the 300-foot man, he's getting ready to go green. So she's like, I just ran, just get out of there. And she goes, and the fans loved it. And then, of course, I think he won or something. And so then they were just like, it's going to be a part of what we do. She is just as iconic as he is when she does that in front of the fans, and the fans, they eat it up for sure.
Well, now she gets on the golf cart, and I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, everybody's cheering for her to be out there, and it's just so cool.
Yeah, she's almost. I mean, I would say you never hear just anybody say just Ken. It's Ken and Rona. I mean, that kind of goes together, and that's super cool. And I know the behind the helmet or behind the hook guy. Sorry, I have too many behinds in my head right now, so it's all good. It is all good. Well, cool. I think we'll wrap this up. Chris, thanks for coming on tonight. Again, kudos to you and your team. Amazing video. It's what our sport needs. Professional videos like that really grabs the sponsor's attention. Chris, everything. That's as cool as it gets, and that's what pulling needs. That's what pulling needs, and you're doing it on the biggest stage with the Bowling Green. So shout out to you guys. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. As I've said before, we love the feedback. That's what keeps us going. Not just us, but the board, Dave and the rest of the board. We love the feedback. Keep telling us good things about what we're doing, and we're going to keep doing it for you. A couple things that I wanted to touch on. If you go over to the National Tractor Pulling Championships YouTube page, hit that with a subscribe. You'll get all the notifications about any of the stuff that we put out there. The new season will come out in 25, but you're going to start seeing teaser content later this year. So you want to stay tuned on that. Speaking of staying tuned, you can like the National Tractor Pulling Championships Facebook page as well. We put out a bunch of content on there. And one last point, Dave dropped a little tiny Easter egg earlier about the future of this series. I'm not gonna repeat it, but somebody can scroll back and rewatch later. But there was a little Easter egg about how there might be more than just season 3.
Yep.
Dave, thank you very much. It takes an army. You're always humble about that, but you got to have a strong leader like yourself. You got a great last name, so I mean, and you're beautiful. I love your mustache. Got a lot going for you in life, Dave. So no, but it means a lot that you came on tonight to unveil this, and having Chris come on as well. It's well done, and you're starting to see others start to step up their video content as well. To get after it, and that's truly what our sport needs, Dave, to attract new fans. You know what I mean? To attract new fans.
Yep. We need to attract all those new fans. We need to put out the very best content for every single pull. It doesn't matter if it's a county fair pull, whatever it is. We all need to put out the very best production for our fans, because our fans is why we get to do this. And it's just I'm humbled to be doing what I'm doing, because for me it's dream, lifetime dream of being able to be part of something like Bowling Green.
Yeah. Chris, I don't know if you could hear us earlier, but make sure you do something with the backup girls from Rona from the drag racing days and backing up on the track. They'd be fun to do something like that there in Bowling Green with that this year. So, Dave, Chris, thanks for coming on tonight. We meant a lot to us to do it, and Kenzie's been dropping the links in the comments, and we'll get that video out as well now that it's been released. But congratulations to the Masterson family, the Simons and Ken Vinny. They're going to be your pullers on season 3 behind the hook from Bowling Green. Have a good night, guys.
Take care.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, bye, Dave.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, now put your Cowboys hats on. Yeah. We're going to my favorite Texans. I love me some Clint and Connor Meeting. These guys have been friends of mine forever. If you ever need a good Crown and Coke, Mike Idol, you go to Clint Meeting's trailer, because there's cups and then there's Texas-sized cups.
Everything's bigger in Texas. I like Crown. I like Crown. I'll drink some Crown from time to time. We'll get off the Coors bandwagon and indulge in some Crown.
So I'm glad they went to the big pro stock class because that's what they've been wanting to do. They conquered the outlaw thing, but I sure do miss them this summer. I will see them some with full pull.live. We're going to find out where they're running some this year, but we're going to talk about, they have an awesome truck and tractor pull this Friday and Saturday in Nordheim, Texas, featuring the Texas Truck and Tractor Pulling Association. And they're going to bring out the bulletproof buck and the bullwhag as well. And it's been a lot of fun for it. So without further ado, and these guys have like 17 dogs, like they have a zoo, like every dog, they buy them, they adopt them. Lynette's like, oh, look at that cute little thing. And the next thing you know, but I remember Conley got this little puppy and ended up being like 9 feet tall and weighs like 900 pounds. I forget what it was, like a Mastendorf elephant or something like that. So without further ado, Clint and Connor Meeting. Welcome, guys. How are you tonight?
We're good.
So Clint, the Mastersons, I know they work on your stuff. That's got to make you super happy to see them be featured on the Behind the Hook.
Yeah, we're very fortunate for them guys to like us.
They'll like you.
They've helped us a lot and kind of escalated us up to the front, I guess. We're not up in the front by any means, but we're so much further ahead with these big pro setups, with them helping us and them in our corner. It's unbelievable. So, we owe a whole lot to Kevin Masterson and his crew.
No, good stuff. Good stuff. Well, let's talk about this Friday and Saturday in Nordheim, Texas. Clint, how many years you've been? So what's cool about this event, you guys, they have a chili cook-off and a brisket and all that stuff, and they have an awesome truck and tractor pull. And then they do that little, is it one of the last round barns in Texas, Clint? What's the story behind that there in Nordheim?
Well, it's there's a handful of them left. There's 3 in our area. One burnt down. Oh man, back early 2000s, they rebuilt it. It's modernized now. It's similar to what it was. Ours it's a real early 1900s dance hall. And then there's one other that's close to us, Garfield Dance Hall. So Garfield, Greenough, and Nordheim, they were all, I don't know exactly how there's a name for them in German, but ours is a shooting club. Years ago, they actually had shooting contest. I don't know if it was like clays or what they did. And then after that kind of played out, they did softball, and they had girls and boys teams in softball, and that was a really, really big hit. None of it ever raised the money like the pool has done, just because everybody that played softball brought their own food and drinks, and there was some revenue from the team entries and all of that stuff, but that kind of played out. There just wasn't near as many people that was playing ball anymore, so we had a lull there for a couple of years, and in 2009 we teamed up with TTTPA, Texas Truck and Tractor Pullers Association, and we started our very first pull there in 2009, and it's grown ever since. And since y'all have come on board, it seems to have really helped us. I've heard a lot of people coming out, not only for the cook-off but for the pull. We've had a lot of response with the Facebook ads that y'all are doing, and we started doing the digital billboards all over the area. And I feel like this year's going to be really good if we can get some good weather. We fight that every year, but if we can get some good weather, we should have a really, really good turnout. Yeah, I had the screen big there. We're playing the video there. Nordheim Mayfie Shootout. Kenzie, can you put the link to their Facebook page in the comments first? People can click on that. Mm-hmm. And they also, the website. Yeah, we've been putting pretty much everything on the Facebook page there. But that's this weekend. Again, Friday night, Saturday night, May 17th and 18th, Texas Truck and Tractor Pulling Association. Two-wheelers, diesel trucks, hot farm tractors, V8s, some single V8s, and then I know, are we going to see both of your big pros there, Clint, this week, Friday night and Saturday night? We'll have the 60-30. We're putting the 830 together now. Okay. So if everything goes good, we'll have it finished and ready.
Nice.
We got
Connor? Oh, go ahead.
We got the pistons and sleeves in it, and got the oil pan bolted on, and we put some paint on the head, and it should be on. We've got some other stuff to do. We're trying some different things. We've had a little trouble with it. When we came out with it right off the bat. It just was absolutely awesome. When we hit the dyno with it, we won Louisville our qualifying year, and that was last year. Not let's see, that would have been
20?
what year?
22
22
or 23.
Yeah, 23 is when you guys had the big success with it down at Louisville. I remember watching that.
We had a lot of timing turned to it, and we heard it. And then we didn't have a real good show in the finals, and we've struggled with it since then. We're hoping. We sent the pump and injectors back to Jim. Didn't find anything major there, but they got all of that kind of dialed in and lined out, and trying a couple of different things. And I think we're going to have it lined out. So hopefully we'll make our first debut pass with it here Friday, and then make a pass Saturday with it. 60/30 is running really good. It's our old standby right now. I don't know. We've got probably 10 or 12 passes on it, and it's just doing really well. So it's pretty much ready to go this season, and hopefully the 8th early can follow it. So
I like it. So last year we saw you guys come out, kind of hit. We saw you up through, was it Chapel Hill?
Yep.
And then I know you basically set them back, redid the 10 works. You'd have more room under the hood to work on them.
Yep.
And then what's the plan? Where are we going to see the Meetings out this summer?
Well, we signed up with NTPA when we were at Louisville. Probably going to make a few of those hooks. I think we're gonna try to run the entire PPL season with John and Christy. I think we can feasibly make those 14. I don't know that we could make Benson, and that's their first one, so that's going to kind of screw us right off from the start. But we hope to definitely go to Bowling.
You're okay. Benson is that's NTPA.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. I think they start middle of July, right? I think is when the Champions Tour season starts.
Yeah. Then I think
Larry's not on tonight.
3 hooks. I think there's like 3 hooks, and then we've got close to a month off, maybe. Okay. I think there's around 14 or 16 hooks, from what I understand.
Okay.
But, I
Kenzie,
believe
can you bring up the PPL schedule for me? Champions Tour Pro Stocks.
Oh, shoot.
Got to get my assistant doing her job back there. That's what I'm talking about. Connor, they let you graduate from college. Was it because you actually earned it, or they just wanted to get your ass out of there?
Both, I guess. I don't know. I was ready to leave.
No, I'm just picking on you, bud. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yep, that was 2-year program, right? Diesel.
Something like that. 18 months, whatever it was.
Okay.
Y'all got to tell Kenzie to smile. She ain't smiling very much.
So she's looking for stuff right now. So she's thinking. She can't smile and think at the same time.
So I don't chew gum very often.
Yeah. That was a good one. How is the weather looking for this weekend, Clint? You guys been dry, or you been wet, or what?
We've been way dry. We actually got some. I think we had about 3/4 of an inch. So we had some shavings and stuff on the track. Had it plowed in, so we should have got a little bit of moisture. But it looks like it's going to be in the low to mid 90s Saturday and Friday and Saturday. So we're going to be. It looks to be like we're going to be good.
Yeah. Kenzie, I haven't been on the PPL website in a while. Is this all of them, or is this Champions Tour? Because boy, let's see here.
I think that's all of them.
Go to events, go to Champions Tour, Pro Stocks. Let's see. Or go to series.
The last I saw on their website, it's a little tricky. You have to click on each event, and then it'll line out and tell you
how many classes,
like what series it hooks with, and then what classes they have. So it's a little tricky to try to get just a specific class.
Yeah. Shipshewana is going to be our first hook.
Shipshewana. Okay.
Yeah.
There it is, June 14th. Yeah, and I think, Connor, that's the same dirt that's inside for Clint's pool. They put it outside. And if that's the case,
that's what John told me at Louisville.
If that's the case, that's good dirt. So you'll like that a lot. We working with them as well, helping promote that pool. So it's gonna be a good time. So it's gonna be a good time. Clint, Nordheim, Texas is not a big town. The first time I visited you, I came in and I hung a right, and I went back to the pool site, and literally it was small town Texas. But to see that many people come into your town that Friday and Saturday night, how does that make you feel as a promoter, as just a local Nordheim Texian? Just wow, all these people are in my town, and I mean, do you guys have any other big events every year, or is that kind of the big one?
For the shooting club, that is our biggest one. Actually, I guess it's our biggest one for the town. I guess we're like any other organization. When we started off, we had a little bit more enthusiasm, which there's still a lot of enthusiasm, but as far as our help to put this thing on, it's pretty much me and the boys and James Namaroo and Shane Lipke whenever he can make it, and then my immediate family that helps us put this thing on. The shooting club takes care of everything outside of the fenced-in area, which is, the food, booze, the beer, that stuff. But, I have very little help to put this thing on. And so I get plenty worked up by the end of this week time. We get everything done and short on help. And I'm paying my guys that are on my payroll to come up and get the grounds ready. But when it's all said and done and the bleachers are brimming full, it's really rewarding that we did what we did, and it seems to drive into the next year. And, we end up turning around trying to do it again. So, like I said, from what I've heard and the response I've got, this year, if the weather's good, could be one of the biggest years we've had. We won't know till we see the fans in the stands, but I've got a lot of people that's never called me before that's coming, and I just feel like this is going to be a big year.
So, the Facebook page has been doing awesome, Clint.
It's been doing
I've never
good.
seen that much interaction with it.
I'm seeing the ad. And so y'all have done well for us with that. And we're excited. Hoping we'll get the 8:30 together. We got Bullfrog back together for about the fourth time today. That goddamn thing has just been absolutely a thorn in our side. We actually finally figured it out, what the hell we've had wrong all this time. But we've had that thing in part. We were back down to just a rear end case, and finally, I think, figured it out. So it's back together, and it hopefully will make its first debut run in 2 years. The furthest we went with it, I think, was 96 feet. So I'm hoping we're going to go 396 feet with it this time. So
that'll be close to the fence out there in Nordheim.
Yeah, we're going to shove it in the fence if we can.
Okay, video board down there too.
I built the fence, and I'll fix the fence if we can shove it in there.
So Nordheim, it's not that far from Houston. It's not that far from San Antonio, right, Connor?
It's about an hour and a half, Jason, from San Antonio. About 3 hours from Houston, which, that in this day and time, if somebody wants to come out and see an event, that's not that far to travel. We've got some good hotels around in the Yorktown, Kennedy area. Corpus is about an hour and a half from us. There's a ton of, Austin is 2 hours. So we're in a good central location, and, other than Columbus, which was 2 weeks ago, and they draw a good crowd just every year.
That's White. Is that Whitey's Pool? Does he?
That is Golden Whitey's Pool, yes.
Yeah.
But they draw a lot of people from the Houston area, and I think we're in a good area. We're early in the season, and everybody's, as far as the pullers, everybody's gung ho to get rolling, and that's a good. Nobody's wore out and their tongues hanging out and shit's broke like late in the season. So I like where we're at. I don't like that we're on top of the Puller Championship, but
it's tough. I mean, we picked that date, because we don't want to be on top of any, PPL or Outlaw or any Grand National Big Points hooks or anything like that.
Right.
So we were earlier, and because when Benson used to be up a year earlier or a week earlier. And then now Benson moved to the 30th, and then we don't want to go on top of Memorial Day. I feel like that's a camping national holiday. I know there's a lot of pulls on Memorial Day, but We just didn't want to do that with the Pullers Championship. So
No,
we're excited for that. We got our track covered here. It was supposed to rain all day here, Clint, and it's only drizzled a little bit on and off. So we're feeling good. The track will be fine. It's just the pits, just like, yours is all grass as well. I feel like your soil will absorb water a little faster than ours does here.
It does. I mean, we've actually had we've had an event I can remember back. Kenneth Poppin was actually pulling with us with, y'all remember Kenneth Poppin. He had hell, back in the day, he had Moo Juice. He had Milky Way 4-wheel drive.
Yep.
And then he had the Fast Forward 2-wheel drive, and he actually brought the Milky Way out that year. And man, the bottom fell out of it. I guess it was Saturday night. We got Friday in, if I remember right. And man, everybody was just itching to go, and we were dragging stuff out with my tractor. And I told everybody, I said, man, why don't y'all just wait and let's go into the dance and let's enjoy the night, and y'all will drive out in the morning. Well, they just wouldn't hear of it. We drug them out. We cut ruts. And the next morning, everybody that did stay drove out on their own power. Monday morning, this is Monday. Now get this. We were dragging them out Saturday night. Sunday, they drove out. And Monday, we were in with an offset and a drag. And we leveled all the ruts, and we fixed it all back up better than it was before we started. So that's how fast we recover. And, man, we fought rain more years here than we've had good years without. I don't think it'd be a good show if I didn't have to blade the track off with a bulldozer, but we did that last year, and it made as good a track as we've ever had. And we're prepared to do it again, but it's not looking right now. We can get a bunch of rain. Like I said, we might have got 3/4 of an inch today, but we've been in a dry spell, and you guys have been just getting hammered on. So all of our corn is up. I don't farm, but the guys that do around me, it's up and starting to tossle, and y'all are trying to get it planted in the ground. So it just kind of goes to show how much different we are from here, from where y'all are at. But it's all going to be good, I think.
Kenzie, are the big pros in Mound City, Missouri? Can you look at the schedule here?
I believe so. They are, yeah.
Our buddy Russ, and he loves the Mettings. We all love the Mettings.
That's Russ, the closest we'll be to him to answer his question.
Just shoot down through Omaha, shoot down.
Yep.
Yeah, the Mettings are needing some rust also.
Yep.
Yeah, we hadn't seen him in a while. No, we really miss pulling with the Outlaws. We really do. But when we decided to step up, and my plan was originally to put the intercoolers on and build another set of motors just for Outlaw. And man, it's just that bridge. That bridge used to be you could gap that bridge and make it work, and it's not that way anymore. And when we stepped up, we had to open up the heads and add the intercoolers. And when you see the plumbing and the pumps and all of that get added on, to take all that back out and set it to the side, and then on top of that, you've got to learn to drive one versus the other. It's kind of like driving bullfrog and driving these pro stocks. It almost kind of screws you up because it's so much difference on the way you handle them and finesse one versus the other. And right now, I don't have any regrets. Like I said, when we first started, Kevin Masterson, we actually went up to get some ice tanks that are still on the 6030 because we hadn't got Josh Miley to get the tank mounted up front in the frame like we do on the 830. And it was actually his 50th birthday that day. And he asked us if we wanted to go eat with him. And so we did. And while we were sitting there eating, I said, I told him what we were going to do and kind of what our dyno plans were. And he said, man, don't do that. And I was like, well, can you dyno him for me? And he said, I'll help you with whatever you need. And it's been downhill ever since. He's just been, he's been not downhill. I don't mean that in a bad way.
No, we know what you meant.
It's been awesome ever since. He's taken me under his wing, and we've learned a lot, and he's helped us tremendously. Rob Russell talks to us from time to time.
Yeah.
Now, when you got those guys in your corner, I mean, we're a long ways from being where we need to be, but we kind of got on the fast track to getting where we need to be pretty quick when you get in with those guys.
Yep,
So,
those are good names to throw around.
Did the success at the 2023 farm show and the adjustments you made kind of play into that? Were you guys kind of thinking that when you made that change that maybe you'd wait and see how it goes, maybe go back to the 5-0 and go to outlaw, but then after did you like won a session or something, didn't you? I think you guys won one night in 2023. Was that kind of what tipped the scales and said, well, let's just keep running it this way?
That had a lot to do with it. Yeah, we had the thing set on the dyno pretty safe, and I had to go out to the driver introduction, and Kevin said, I'll bump the timing up a little bit for you. And when I come back out, it was about 1.5 degrees more than what we really talked about. And I mean, it ran like it that night too. I mean, it is absolutely. I think I put 9 feet on the field, and of course we heard it. That motor was fresh. Going into Louisville with a brand new fresh motor and trying to run that kind of timing is not the thing you want to do. But we're living and learning. We got Jim and Steve Weimer or Kolonowski. Not Weimer fuel injection, but Jim and Steve, they're on our side as well as they are with everybody else that's in this world. But they help us a bunch, and Phil and Keith at Riverside, we feel like we're part of the family with them. We've came too far to turn around and back up now. So
right.
Will we go back at some point? Maybe, but not right now. So
Understood. Well, Clint, Connor, good luck this weekend. We got Brandon Phillips to go to next. We're gonna start talking some Pullers Championship. I hope you guys have great weather, and I hope you have the biggest crowd you've ever had, Clint.
Well, I hope y'all's Pullers Championship goes well, and I want to be watching that. There's some guys there that are pulling for the first time, and hopefully we can watch that, and we'll let you know how things go. And thank you for all your help.
Awesome. Good night. See you guys.
See you guys. Thank you.
Guys. Good luck with you.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go from big pro stocks to awesome light supers. Am I echoing really bad?
Yeah, there's a little bit of slapback or echo, I think, on all of us.
I'm gonna blame it on Kinsey.
Okay.
So, Mike, what do you know about Brandon Phillips? We'll leave him in the green room for a little bit.
So
I know he's Chase Richardson's friend, so I don't have a lot of respect for him. So.
Say what?
He's Chase Richardson's friend, so I don't have a lot of respect for him.
Not much. Yeah. But this is going to be a fun interview. There's a lot of fun things. Other than the fact that Brandon and his father have had awesome light supers for a long time. They come from and kind of promote or work with what I think is one of the most unique pulling tracks and one of the most fun places to watch a pull. And the Loudon Light's been a fun tractor too, because they were diehard diesel guys who kind of said they'd never go alcohol, and things change. And then they were kind of diehard red guys, and they bought Loudon Light. So that's going to be fun to look into because it's green, or is it? But I don't really care about all that. And then I think they're good, hardworking pullers who consistently are tough to beat. I think you don't typically win a light super stock show without going through the Insanity pulling team. So I look forward to chatting with them. Howdy, and hello, Mr.
Hey,
Brandon.
how are you guys?
How are we doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Hey, we're doing awesome. So you're checking in from the Bluegrass State, the great state of Kentucky. Now, is it Vine Grove? Is that right? Is that where you guys?
Yeah, it is.
Where's Vine Grove compared to Brandenburg? How close are you guys to Brandenburg?
So we're about 15 minutes east of Brandenburg, so we're away from the river. And just in a little town, Vine Grove. Still the same county, just a little bit different city. So of course, Brandenburg is our hometown, even though it's not technically our city.
Right. No, so that's Meade County, the Meade County Fair, and we're going to talk Pullers Championship very, very soon. And there's a lot that I think that we can break down about Pullers Championship. But coming from someone who just started off as a diehard fan, I can't not talk to you and not talk to the world about Brandenburg, Kentucky, because what a neat fans. I will tell you this right now. It's one to go look at. Even if you just walk the grounds on a day when a pull isn't there and you scratch your head and say, they have a tractor pull here. Give everyone the hot, quick, and dirty of your unique setup that you guys have at Brandenburg. It's like an outdoor indoor facility almost.
Yep. Yeah. So our facility is special in its own way. One thing that we really enjoy about it and kind of take pride in is it can rain 5 inches, 5 inches of rain an hour before the pool. We will have a pool regardless. So all of our pit area is rock. And then, of course, our track, it's the bowl. So that's what kind of all the locals around here call it as a bowl, because you have to go through a tunnel to get to the arena. And the arena sets about 10 to 12 feet lower than kind of like the pedestrian walking path around the kind of the arena. And so inside that arena, of course, is the track, along with 2 storm drains that will take as much water as Mother Nature will give to it. And we can dry things up pretty quick. And there has been a few videos and a few pictures that have taken over the years from times that we've gotten rain and was able to have a pool. And it's always nice. I mean, our county fair is amazing in itself. We operate off of volunteers, and every year I tell guys, I'm like, hey, if you want to help the other 4 guys that are doing the exact job you're asking to do, you're more than welcome to. We have a ton of volunteers, and we appreciate every one of them. But another thing that we have going as well is we do have a pit house. So every Friday, every Saturday, there's food pretty much 24/7 for the pullers, and drinks, desserts, and just kind of that Southern hospitality that everyone always talks about. But, we really love our pullers and people that come and support the Meade County Fair.
It's the best sweet tea I have ever drank in my life. And it's not even close. That's not even close. I didn't, of course, in Missouri, our sweet tea, it's nothing like what you guys are making farther south. And I've never sampled Chapel Hills, but if you guys are going head to head with the big Southern pulls, you guys are winning. So does the track, is it just an optical illusion, or does it run uphill the final 20 feet or so?
The final 20 feet does run uphill. So it's fairly flat. As you get to that, that 200 feet, and then it inclines, 8 inches, 8 to 10 inches from that last little bit. So about by the time the box tops out, you actually have a little bit of extra drag that's coming along with you. And Bo Simpson that does our pull there with his sled, it was, I think, a little bit tricky for him a couple times, but we love Bo. Bo does a great job, and all of his sled operators do. And it's a challenge, and I think everyone enjoys it, and it's a little different for everyone. So it's always nice, seeing new people, new faces.
So it's an awesome track. It's an awesome event. Speaking of awesome events, Pullers Championship. When are you heading out? How far do you have to travel? And what is left on your to-do list before you're ready to throw down this weekend?
Well, I guess we'll start from the beginning on getting there. So no, actually, we had redid kind of some work on our trailer, so we got all that done, and tractors are done, ready to go. Thanks to Terry and Josh, all of those guys. Motors are running great. Brent keeps the rear ends, the planetaries, and everything in line, so everything's good to go tractor-wise. We will load up Thursday, head out early Friday morning. It's just a quick 4-hour drive for us. So we will be there Friday around lunch, and look forward to getting there, getting parked, getting back in the groove of hanging out with all of our friends and fans, pullers, and of course, pulling at the Pullers Championship.
So does it signify a couple of things to you? It seems like you're kind of talking about you're getting just that general feel of this is it, outdoor season 2024. The gears are turning, stuff is moving. I imagine a part of you is excited for that, but is another part of you excited because this is turning into a pretty special event with the fan voting and with it being a destination pull. So how many emotions are you feeling kind of on both of those levels right there?
Oh, of course. I mean, just a ton. the fact that sets the Polish Championship apart from everyone else is the fact that it is fan voting. And it's really something that is special in a way that, people are watching you, people are voting for you, people are enjoying what you're giving them. So it's really interesting and neat to see that. And of course, we want to say thank you to everyone. And of course, we love everyone that supports truck and tractor pulling.
Yeah.
We couldn't do it without them, and definitely love and can't wait to see everyone here this weekend.
Yeah, that's for sure. It is becoming a really special event. And yeah, I think what you said right there, it's a reflection of how much people in general support truck and tractor pulling. You pulled there last year, you and your father. Did you pull there year one as well?
Yes.
So You've been there all 3 years. Have you come in as a fan vote each year, or have you come in as an invitational vote any times? And does it make a difference to you how you get in?
It would not make a difference. We have been fan vote all 3 years, which I think is, just as special as winning a championship or a promoter's choice or what have you. But, I always think it would be interesting, even if we did win the points or maybe if it was a promoter's choice that, back out and say, no, I want to be fan vote. See where I stand with all the fans and see what they want to do.
Well, 3 straight years we've opened it up and let the fans say, hey, who do you want to see in there? And 3 straight years the fans have voted for the Insanity Pulling team. So that's a really good reflection, too, of what you're talking about, your mission of we just like people that support truck and tractor pulling. And I think you're a team out there that's always kind of held that banner proudly. I was saying while you were kind of backstage, you guys feel like a team. You don't win a light super stock show and not go through the Phillips. As you've always got, you're going to have a lot of heavy hitters in there. And Spiegelberg, he's going to do what he's going to do, and all of Cheese Extractors are going to do what they're going to do. But you guys are going to be right there. You're not going to win something without beating you guys. And I think the fans see that. And it shows last year. So it looks like last year your dad got you got 4th overall. Your dad got 3rd overall. He went 5th on Friday, 3rd on Saturday. You went 2nd on Friday, 7th on Saturday. Are you looking to flip the script and finish in front of him this year? Is there some friendly rivalry there, or do you just like putting them both down the track in one piece?
Hey, putting them both down the track in one piece is definitely what we always are looking for. I'll take 2nd behind my dad any day, anytime. He's been at this a lot longer than I have. I'm just, thankful enough to be able to keep doing it along with him and kind of keeping it going. We're probably looking for some punishment this year. So as a lot of fans have been asking where the original 1066 was.
That was my next question. So you're running your own interview, man. You're rolling.
So over the last couple of years, which of course, starting multiple businesses and having different things going on in life, redoing the 1066, of course, has taken a little bit of time. And as of pretty much 2 weeks ago, it is ready to go. So we will see it out at a couple events. So we don't plan to run the circuit with all 3, but we do plan to run a majority of the events this year with all 3. So if you see us running around with chickens, chickens with their heads cut off, you'll know why. And we're going to enjoy every bit of it. And doing it with our family is definitely number one and on the top there. So I'm looking forward to having all 3 of them.
The world misses Insanity. But the Loud and Light has felt like a hand in a glove fit for you. I think everyone was kind of like, oh, a green one, out of these guys, it's going to be a green one. And, we're not going to ask you to pop the hood and look at what's underneath there. We'll just say it's green for right now. You've carved out some nice success, and that almost felt to me like it was going to be a test and tune research and development tractor. But have you kind of fallen in love with that thing? And has that kind of turned into your old bread and butter here these past couple of years?
Well, I would say so. I'm pretty comfortable in it. I enjoy driving it, and it is a lot of fun. I have to give a big shout out to Bob Barbie and Jonathan Gibson down at Full Pool Motorsports. We redid a lot of the chassis work over the winter. Was super impressed with it at the Farm Machinery Show, and definitely looking forward to it this summer. But those guys have done great, and of course Terry and Josh, they've been right there with us on this tractor, and I think if anyone knows us, they'll know that we'll try anything. I'll move the sled. Like I said, I'll do anything. I remember, Keith and Ricky Long, which, only live about 45 minutes from us. So they come to a lot of the state hooks that maybe you wouldn't see those guys at with their mods or their toolers back in the day. And I go up to Ricky one day and I ask him, like, Ricky, what are you doing here? And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, I didn't expect you to be, in a little small town pulling your tool drive truck. And he's like, hey, I want to run here just as well as I want to run anywhere else. He said, this dirt's completely different than what we run on, and maybe on the circuit or maybe wherever else we run. And he said, if I can kind of broaden my knowledge on pulling on different dirts and tracks, he said, I'm going to do it every chance I get. So I kind of have always thought about that in the back of my head, that if I got a chance to pull on, Knoxville, Tennessee, or Rockwell, Iowa, or, Polish Championship dirt, I'm going to run anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Brandon, can you answer that question on the screen? Can you see that?
Yeah. So converting a diesel to an alcohol in today's world, it's pretty simple, because you call a guy like Robbie Lemke, or you call any of the guys that are making diesel heads, or you call Blackburns or Crutchfields or any of the guys that are making alcohol heads, and that's the cylinder head part of it. So of course, and then you got spark plugs versus an injection pump. So we run a distributor where the old injection pump used to be. So take the injection pump out, put the distributor in, you got spark plugs ready to go. It does not take a whole lot, actually. We still got our light limited. That is a factory 360 international diesel motor that has spark plugs in it. So injector tubes are threaded and have spark plugs ran down the center of them. So it doesn't take very much at all to convert one over. Do a little piston work here and there, and cylinder head work, and away you're at it there.
I'm assuming your wife does your social media, correct?
Most of the time.
Okay, because it's
actually
really good.
99% of the time.
I was going to say, because it's really
strong
good.
Most.
Yeah.
It's really good. Well, no, and then she must have a new boutique or something, because she's always posting something, right?
Yeah. So
do they have any dudes clothes there, Brandon, so we can see you model on something? Or?
You don't see those as much because I'm not going to be the one to model them, and I told her that. So I was like, you can find someone else to do that, and that'd be perfectly fine. So she stays busy with the boutique and clothing, home goods store, and then of course the event center as well. That keeps us busy, and then I stay at the construction company as much as I can, and try to keep that going as well.
Brandon, what is, over your years of pulling, what is one track or one event, no matter what you do, it just kicks your ass? Like something happens on the way to the pull, or you just get there. What is that one track that it owns you? What track owns Brandon Phillips?
I would say Farley, Iowa. So first year there, it was with the Insanity tractor. Main fuel lines, supply line from the tank, somehow or the other broke, leaned the motor out. We repaired it. RJ sent me uptown to the kind of the local parts hardware store. The guy made me a fuel line. As I'm getting the fuel line back together, we're trying to button up the engine, because we detonated it pretty hard. So got that one back together. Come out, ran Saturday, got second, broke some more parts, which was fine, no big deal. The next year that we were there was the let me make sure I'm thinking of this right. Yes, was the first year that we had got the John Deere. So go out there, still learning to drive it a little bit. It is set up a little bit different than our others. Take a pretty bad ride the first day. Second day was good to go. the third year going to Farley, Iowa, we get 45 minutes down the road, get rear-ended by a cement truck.
Oh.
And Dad looks at me and he said, well, I guess we just better go to the house. And I was like, absolutely not. I said, we're going to a guy's place that has shops and tools. I said, we will get that back door down. And sure enough, RJ, Brandon, all the guys there at Farley, they had their hands out like, hey, what do you need? Tools here, there, and everywhere. So we did. We cut that back door apart, made sure the lights work, and got the door down, went tractor pulling. So Farley, Iowa, the 3 years that we have been there, either something there has happened or on the way there has happened. So I'm going to have to go with Farley.
Yeah, join us June 7th and 8th for the Farley Nationals, the 300 Raceway 2024. Good stuff. All right. So we're stoked to see you. I'm already in Nashville. I came down this morning, and the track's covered. Honestly, Brett, it was supposed to rain all day. It hasn't. It's been sprinkling on and off, but we've escaped the big rains. The biggest thing for us is just it looks like it's going to be okay Friday and Saturday. Saturday looks beautiful. Shot of rain on Friday. Just keep the pits. That's our biggest concern at this point. So we're excited to see you there. Thank you. Tell Victoria thank you again for all that she's been doing on social media, because this is the year the pullers really have been the promoters this year. Brandon, you understand what we're trying to do with this. We have awesome sponsors. We got our fixed costs covered. Now every dollar from the live stream and the gate goes back to the pullers who deserve it, and I'm super excited for that. So
yep, for sure. No, we're looking forward to being there, and of course we'll do everything in our part to push it out there and make sure everyone knows about it. That may be under our fan base, but definitely looking forward to it. It's a great event. Brad, Beer Money, all the guys there, thank you for what you do. Like I said, looking forward to Friday and Saturday.
Hey, one last question. Why is Tyler Slagh your favorite host of the No Practice podcast, Brandon?
All three of those guys, it's quite funny. Usually I'm texting Chase back and forth. There he is. Usually we're texting Chase back and forth, and always have some kind of comments going. So those guys are great at what they do and keep the energy at a high level for sure.
Oh, you're too kind. You're too kind.
I feel like I kind of got goosebumps now, Mike. We have our pulling heroes, but Tyler Slagh is one of my pulling heroes, and he's on the #1 pulling podcast in the world.
Here's what I have to say to Tyler.
They're full of it, Brandon. They're full of it.
I've been thinking about this all day. Tyler, you shouldn't be able to have both. You should either have a wonderful, amazing speaker voice or a badass mini rod and be an excellent driver. You should get one or the other, man. He's on here just speaking smoothly and dominating the internet and the track.
Clearly, I'm not an excellent driver. You can see that video there Kenzie's got playing where things didn't go so smoothly there. So I really don't know what you're talking about.
It was memorable, though. It was memorable.
Yeah, it was memorable. We'll give it that at best.
There you
Tyler,
go.
There's one thing that I appreciate you every time that you may, let's say, have a bad ride on a mini. I'm not going to say wreck.
You can say wreck.
Get up, fist bump, and we're off. We're ready to go.
Well,
get that off the track. Let's get Bruce going if he hasn't already.
Yeah, you know what that is, honestly, is it's ambulance repellent. So I've wrecked a motorcycle before, and if you just kind of somber around and hang your head low, they'll try to throw you on a stretcher and shove you in an ambulance. And Farmer Bruce tells me that ambulances are very expensive, so try to avoid getting in those.
Yeah.
So if you get into a bad wreck, you just get up, you fist bump. They're like, he's clearly fine. No need for the ambulance.
There you go.
It's an economical decision as he then stumbles back into his toter and takes a nap for the next 2 hours when no one's looking because he's
just mildly concussed.
Oh man.
Yes, absolutely.
Dave Schultz says the beard's
Schultz
rule tonight. Yeah.
Beard.
Yeah,
we started a half an hour.
But not a mustache. I can't grow a mustache. That's why I look Amish.
Oh, you'd be a fun Amish guy. No, Dave came on. I don't know if you guys watched the whole show. Dave came on with the Toledo Aerial Media, and they announced who they're going to have for season 3 of Behind the Hook. They got Masterson, Simons, and Ken Vini. So that's going to be pretty exciting to have those.
Those are going to be some good ones.
Yeah,
I feel like Simons and Mastersons, and I've been kind of pushing this lately. 2023 was like the year like if you had to say like there was one vehicle of the year in 2023, it was the River Rat, you know. So like they were the liaisons for the sport in 2023. And my prediction, based on what I've seen so far, is that the vehicle of 2024 is going to be the Simon Says modified. And so it just feels like the Mastersons, the Simons, they're kind of the banner carriers right now. So when that was who they chose, I just, that felt like a really on the nose pick. That felt like that was a smart pick on their part.
Yeah, and it's certainly off to an awfully hot start with the sweep going on there in Louisville, Kentucky.
It's 3 for 3. If it just stays, if you just ran a polling circuit in Freedom Hall, like I think the other mod drivers would look for a different venue because it owned that. It was,
the thing is stout for sure.
It was fun too because the big story at Freedom Hall floating around was, is this going to be the year of the 3-engine mod? You know, it looks like the 3 engines are dominating, the 4s are going the way of the past, and then it comes out and it just kind of reminds everybody like, oh nope, don't steal my thunder just yet, boys.
Yeah, as Brian Knox always says, his kindergarten teacher was right. 4 is greater than 3.
I love it. Oh man, I love it. So Tyler, I've got to ask you the question before we get to our Pullers Championship segment where we break down where we think you're going to finish. I watched you pull at the Mid-America Truck Show.
Yes.
Are you cramped? Are you squeezed? You look very. It looks like comfort is taking a back seat in the new setup now.
Yes, but I was legal. And as far as new setup, I have placed my brake pedals back where the good Lord intended alongside of the frame rails. So you won't see me quite as cramped this coming weekend.
Okay, so you can adjust depending on who and where you're pulling. So when you're with PPL or at TPC, that's like you said, as the good Lord intended, you can put them back where they go. It's just at other events that you have to keep them tucked in there. You looked, I mean, it was really, it looked snug, buddy. It looked like you were fitting in there quite tightly.
I've got an awful lot of belly to be having my knees that close to my chin. I'll say that for sure. But it worked. Sure. I'd say there's a pretty good chance you'll see that tractor set up in that trim once again this coming summer a couple different times. But it's certainly a lot more comfortable the way it's supposed to be. And I honestly feel a lot safer without my feet jammed in between a transmission and frame rails as well. So,
Brandon, do you mind hanging out with us? Is that cool? Is that fine?
Oh, I'm good. Whatever you guys.
You have to talk sometimes though too. It's not just.
Hey, I can do that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
He can have a Brandon Phillips interrupts board. Nobody interrupts like Chase Richardson though.
Yeah, well, that's why I've got on there that nobody is going.
No
to
one tonight.
No one tonight. Absolutely.
Oh man. No, that's excellent. The podcast you guys do is just absolutely incredible. It's taken off awesome. So I asked Brandon, I'll ask you, how far do you have to drive to get to Nashville? What do you have left to do? And what's your itinerary between now and Friday afternoon when the green flag drops for the Have No Mercy and Show No Mercy mini rods?
Well, thankfully, because of the truck show, my tractor is largely complete other than that brake pedal little switcheroo business that we discussed. So I don't have much to do. Farmer Bruce is building a new motor for his tractor. So we got the cam degreed in this past weekend on that, got the motor set in. He did. And he said, I hopped in the tractor with him after work today and did a couple rounds in the field as he was planting. And he said that tomorrow, hopefully we'll fire it up and rerun the valves on Wednesday. And then hopefully we'll get loaded up Wednesday night, and Thursday after work, we'll hit the road.
Chips fall where they may, and everything's going to be rocking and rolling. So you guys had big seasons in the PPL this year. It looks like you finished second. And did Dad finish third? Am I looking at my notes correctly here? I don't know. If I'm going
might
right
have been,
here. Yeah, second and third.
Might have been fourth. I don't know if he got Jeff's second one, but
okay.
Regardless, semantics. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. We like where we're at. Bruce is he's going to experiment with his motor and try something a little bit different, and we'll see how it goes. I'm not convinced, but we'll let the results speak for themselves. He might be your hero or zero pick for the weekend. I feel like it's either going to work or it's not going to work at all.
I love dark horse picks that way. I think, to me, I've been breaking down the whole one neat thing that they do. You can already see driver lineups. Like if you go out to the Pullers Championship, we already have drivers lineups, which are going to play into it. I think there are a couple of 0 to 0 dark horses out there. I've got a couple picked in some other classes. I could see him wearing that role proudly. Last year, he finished 8th on Friday, 8th on Saturday. So very consistent and not where he wants to be. You bookended that.
Consistently terrible is what we'll call that.
But you pulled a 1st and a 9th. So the first night you dominated, and then the second night, Dad did win technically on that one. So
he beat me the second day. So last year we definitely had what we'll call the 0 or 0 setup in, and it played out chronologically just like that: 0 then 0. So hopefully we'll be a little bit more consistent. I would rather a 2nd and a 3rd than to get a win and then wad everything up and roll it over. So,
and I would say that was last year. We've seen that video enough that I had it in my head. That was 2022, but no, that was last year. Do you feel that video was the inspiration for the rule change, or was that something that maybe was, not affiliated with that?
I feel like it was maybe an inspiration, but to me, it's an argument that nothing needed to be changed. I've seen the series of photos that we've all seen, and I felt like I kept my feet nice and tucked alongside the frame rails where they're supposed to be. They weren't loose and flying and stabbing into the ground or anything like that. So I felt like I proved something with that wreck, just that I can maintain my feet placement. But unfortunately, I feel like some other people didn't view it that way.
This is like the approach of the kid getting wild in the backyard and mom saying to calm down. And when you wreck, you say, see, nothing bad happened. We're all good. So
nothing bad happened.
But as you said, you've made the necessary adjustments, and it's nice to hear, because I know the fans, we obsess about little things like this. This is pulling. We're so diehard into pulling that we will dedicate 20 minutes on the internet talking about where a person rests their feet. But it is neat to know that you will be able to make adjustments between where you're going to be at each weekend and everything. I'd like to think
so. I haven't received a last-minute email yet from the organization telling me that I have to move them. So fingers crossed that doesn't roll through.
And if it is an email, Jason Schultz loves to send me emails on the weekend, and those do not get opened until Monday a lot of times. So there's always that you can play to your advantage if they send it via email.
It's when I finally have time to catch up on my thoughts for the week. So it's all good.
What do you think of the rule change, Brandon, of us having to move our feet?
Well, I'm not going to lie. I think if I could have my feet outside the sheet metal, I guess, since we have sheet metal, I think it would be kind of cool. What was the turbine back in the day where the lady was sitting on top of the turbines?
Oh, that was the old green monster.
The legend. Our Fonz's daughter pulled it and called it the legend or the legacy or something like that.
Yeah, that's a completely different approach from all pulling vehicle setups. So that's kind of an interesting thought. Hey, Tyler, when you're talking about wrecks, one fond memory that comes to mind is Montgomery City, Missouri in like 2007. My dad has a bad ride, flips over on his side. So my dad at the time was a pretty hefty guy, and little bitty guy, maybe 100 pounds soaking wet, runs up to my dad and is like, "Hey, I'm here to help. I'm gonna get you out." And he reaches for the turnbuckle to undo the harness. And my dad's like, "No, don't do that." And we're like, what are you talking about? And he's like, "I'm about to hurt you if you undo that." And
I would agree.
Just don't do that. But, there's not been too many wrecks, I guess, with tractor guys as there has been mini rods. But I think it's more fun watching the mini rods.
So good rule change or bad rule change?
Oh, no. I think with that, you got to be comfortable. There's one thing about pulling. You got to be comfortable. And if you're more comfortable with your feet outside of frame rails, by all means, I think it's, hey, do it. I guess they're going to come back and make you put restraints on your feet. But to your point, you kept your feet in, control and kept them where they need to be. So I think you're good.
All right. I've got Brandon in my corner.
Yeah. My dad always said when it came to the sport of truck and tractor pulling, it's so dangerous, it's safe. And there's a lot of truth in that, like when you do dangerous things safely, it's kind of like flying. People say that flying is far and away the safest way to travel. Well, logic tells you there's nothing inherently safe about being 10,000 feet in the air in a tuna can, going 500 miles an hour. But it forces you to examine every single aspect that gets overlooked in the day-to-day life. And yeah, the precautions have been made wherever the feet go. It's safety has come a long ways, and it looks like they'll be safe. And I'm glad that you're able to make adjustments when you need to make adjustments. So what's Dylan says, when are we going to see a 4-wheel drive guy? Oh, that's my kind of stuff, Schultz. The one of the coolest classes. Jason knows that I'm a big 4-wheel drive truck fan. Any 4-wheel drive truck guys coming on the No Practice podcast anytime soon?
We have one in discussion, yes. So it's possible. It's hard to pick because there's so many great characters, and like people say we do well on the show, but I think the three of us do terrible. We just get the opportunity to highlight the personalities that pulling has to offer, and that makes our jobs pretty easy. So
Billy Beers and Russell Hildenbrand have been my two favorite.
Yeah, they were characters. Russell that will lead to a hungover Thursday. I tell you what,
that's one of those you can't come over on school nights anymore kind of a guy.
yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to linking up with him this summer. That's going to be a good time for sure.
It was funny.
You said on your next podcast. Go ahead, Jason.
You go ahead, Mike.
Well, I was to say, you said on your next podcast that after that, you got up at 5 and were at work at 6 and just pushed through. But was that one of those where maybe, now I've been in this boat before, sometimes looks can be a little deceiving first thing in the morning, and at 6 o'clock you might feel good, but the old mother hangover, she just is late to her meeting. About 10 or 11 o'clock, was there a delayed reaction where you were looking for some Taco Bell and a nap possibly?
No, it was there first thing in the morning, but I mean, we hung in there and we pulled through. So thankfully that wasn't my first time having to endure that. So
yeah, you can become a veteran in more sports than just truck and tractor pulling.
Yeah, it's a real sense of pride, isn't it?
Give Mike a tally mark. Oh, you're interrupting too much, Mike.
Oh no, I knew before this got going. That's one of my things that I write on a resume. That's one of my qualities I bring. So yeah, you might want to scribble Chase's name out tonight and put mine back there, because that tends to happen when I'm a part of something.
People do not. Excuse me. People don't realize how hard that delay thing is when you're doing something over a video deal like this. Like, you think the person's done talking and everything has like a weird half-second delay, and so you'll start talking and then they already started talking. It's a lot harder than what people think it is. So we won't tell Chase that I said that, but in your defense, I feel you.
No, I'm a true interrupter. Schultz has hung out with me in real life in person. Like I like to talk. I like to be the one making the noises. So it just happens that way sometimes.
Normally, Kenzie talks everybody's ear off, but when Mike's on the show, she just keeps it quiet. So it's all good. It's all good. Tyler, yeah. So Debbie had messaged me. She's like, "Hey, they're going to have Russ on that No Practice podcast. Is that a pretty big deal?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, it's awesome." She goes, "Can he just be himself?" I'm like, "Oh please." I go, "That's what that podcast is all about." So
yes,
he's perfect. I said those are his people.
Yeah, we wanted nothing more than that, and that was probably the most. I guess I'll say nervous, for lack of better terms, going into one, because all three of us had never really sat and hung out with him face to face. So we didn't know him at all going into that. But if that wasn't the real Russ, I can't imagine what the real Russ is. I'll say that.
No, that's the real Russ. That's the real Russ. Brandon, Tyler, this will be your second year. Well, no, you've pulled at the other Holes Hour events, right? So yes. You know the Holes Hour track. Brandon, so Mike, who were some of the new mini rods, and who are some of the light supers that are first time competitors? Kester's brand new. Theobald's brand new. Any light supers that are brand new?
Well, the brand new mini rod that everyone's excited to see is the Half Past Midnight with Jeremy Nelson coming out and making not only a first hook. Well, he's probably actually I'm answering your question wrong. He's probably pulled at Holes Howers before, but he's going to be pulling a mini rod. That's the former 1X mini rod going to come out. Yep. And that just feels like a hand in a glove fit. That feels like he's going to take for that class well. But as far as light supers, Has
Big
Tennessee
and little
Tracks
temptation.
pulled there before?
Oh yeah, Hogs, right, Brandon?
Yeah.
Hogs. Little
Yeah, they
temptation.
may have been there the points hook of
For
the
PPL.
PPL event, but I don't believe so at the Polish Championship.
Yeah, Brad's having, our event this weekend, and then he's having his PPL pool at the end of the year. He's trying to have bookmarks now, kind of the first and the last, because without a Wheatland anymore. I think he's would it be the Enderley weekend, Tyler? Maybe the weekend after Labor Day.
That sounds right. I'm not a big calendar schedule guy. I let the other people fill me in on that. Bruce and Courtney take care of that, and they just let me know.
Tell me
don't
where
make
we're
any
driving
plans.
this weekend.
Yeah, they say don't make any plans this coming weekend. We've got a pool to go to. I'm like, okay, sounds good.
Here's a good one, and this one kind of broke the internet. Brent Payne in the Galat first time. So we got 2 brand new vehicles debuting, and I don't know, have Payne's. Did they pull their Galat, their big tractors they've kind of bounced back and forth between PPL and NTPA, and I forget where they've kind of made their living in the past and if they've been at Holzhauer's before or not.
I don't believe Brent has been to any of the Holzhauer events, whether it be TPC or just Brad's pool. So I don't think they've been there at all.
But everyone else on the list for the light supers looks like you've got Big and Little Temptation, Detonator Black, Red, which is of course is the former Detonator Red. You and your father pulling Little Bad Alice. That's been a fan favorite there. And then Fuqua and Tennessee Tracks. I don't know if he's pulled there.
Yeah, he has. He was here last year.
And then the Galat light super. So it looks like most of them have. And then your mini rods.
Yeah, with Nelson's, I mean, he's pulled there before several times with his 2-wheel drive, and Jeremy's ran Terry Jostock's mini rod several times, so I feel like he's going to be good to go on that thing. Him and I were talking the other day, and he's like, "Man, I'm getting kind of nervous." I'm like, "Let's be honest, you've got just as good a shot as anybody out there." We know the 1X tractor was dialed in before they bought it. It was super competitive. We know Jeremy knows pulling. He knows how to read tracks. He knows how to spot a sled. He's driven a mini rod before. I don't think there would be any of us in that class shocked or surprised if he went out there and just whooped all of our asses.
What about Adam? I was just looking down the list. He's always been, it seems like his family traditionally ran NTPA more. I know they did a little more PPL recently, but has Kester, has he been down the track at Nashville before?
I don't think so.
That feels like he hasn't either.
Yeah, I feel like he's eager to get some new passes on that, or some passes on that new tractor that he put together and ran at the truck show there. So it'll be interesting to watch.
Who's going to be to each of you guys? So let's say you're going to walk away winning Friday night or Saturday, and I'll let you pick. We haven't released the script yet. It's just like the NFL season. It's scripted. We haven't released it yet. But when you're standing on the podium, who will you have? Who's the biggest person you have to knock off to get there? Who do you kind of label for this specific pull at this track, the way it is with, multiple organizations and associations pulling? I want to hear from both of you. Who's the one that you feel has the bullseye that you're going to have to knock off?
Jeff Hurt's been running really, really tough, but at the same time, with Shelton's bringing one of their minis there, they don't get out much with that thing, but they know how to tune a motor and they know how to tractor pull. So I feel like I would not be surprised if they brought that thing there and they're like, we don't care if we hurt this thing. We're going to go out there. We've got one shot at it and we are going to make it count. So it wouldn't surprise me if you see them being a pretty top contender there.
So
CJ did not make CJ did not make the fan vote, Tyler. But
that's very depressing that CJ won't be there. But I hear he's hanging out in Farley, Iowa with RJ, helping them out now. So yeah.
Perfect. He's just bouncing around from team to team, whoever will take him.
Yeah, he's kind of like that. Brandon, what do you think? Who's going to take it in your class?
So those of you who know Jacob Fuqua, obviously, he's there to win. He's there to put on a show. So actually, there's kind of a group of us. So their farm is Riverside Farms. I may be butchering that name just a little bit, but it's pretty close to that. So everybody down south calls it the Riverside Rocket. So that's what we call that tractor. Jacob is a good puller and is always out there. Man, those case tractors are tough. They're great pullers. They do a really, really good job. And especially anytime you give somebody 2 chances, of course, the second one has the potential to do the best. But those guys are super good. Beating anyone in the class is a true honor for us to be able to do. I mean, I think everybody in our class is tough. Tyler probably thinks the same for the mini rod guys. So I'm going to go with the Riverside Rocket to beat that one. And then, of course, the Haugs being a close second for sure.
Who do you want to take the win from the most, Brandon?
As much as I want to say my dad, I don't know if I can. I would probably say take the win. It'd probably be from Jacob. We're always going back and forth. So Jacob's son, Jet, super fun, full of energy. He's always coming around saying, I think Jacob is kind of telling him what to say sometimes. So he'll say, "Hey, go over there and say better luck next time, sucker," or something like that. Jay, loved him to death. Great puller, and of course that was back in the diesel days. We love our Southern family. We love our entire class and the pulling community, but we've probably pulled with the Southern guys the most, of course. But no, we love pulling with Jacob.
What about you, Tyler? Ask yourself the same question. Who would you like to go out there? Would it be Bruce? Are you gunning for Bruce? Is he your one, or do you like to see him finishing as high as possible?
Oh, I love to see him do well for sure. I'll pick Bruce just because that means we get to finish first and second, and there's not much sweeter than that. So that's an easy answer for me.
That's happened though, Tyler. You guys have done that many times over the years.
It has happened, but you catch lightning in a bottle every once in a while.
Michael,
that's great.
Who gets out of the belts faster after their run, Jeff Hurt or Tyler Slagh? Tyler, what you called earlier, ambulance repellent? Can you?
Yes,
that was funny.
Ambulance repellent, absolutely.
So even if you are hurt, you just fist bump and keep walking.
Oh yeah, 100%. I do have the seatbelt where you give it the old quarter turn and it actually shoots the buckles out of the center cam portion. So I feel like I've got a little bit of an advantage when it comes to that. They're kind of spring loaded.
You're going to have to share that technology with Jeff. It's going to be a whole new thing. But no, that's it seems like your feet are on the ground more quickly. It seems like Jeff might have crawled himself out of tractor more quickly, but I noticed that even long before I got into like podcasting or announcing or anything. Your feet are touching the dirt as soon as that red flag seems to be waving. I mean, you're down and ready to crawl out of that cage pretty quickly each time.
Well, I've got the advantage. My feet are so close to the ground,
And you've got that forward seated position. So it feels like you've got the momentum. You just roll on forward and you're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, there you go, Tyler. Your feet are on the outside of the frame rails. You have a chance to touch the ground quicker to get that momentum shot out.
Yeah.
I have seen Jeff Hurt clear the tractor by a good 10 feet before, though. Whether it be on fire or whatever the case may be. I have seen Jeff repel himself off of the tractor.
Yeah, I think he's a little smaller than me, so it's easier for him to get a nice leap out of the tractor when things go poorly.
Tyler, there's a question I asked Brandon earlier. What is the one track or the one venue or event that just owns your ass? Like no matter what you do, Tyler, you couldn't punch your way out of a wet paper bag or whatever the saying is.
We've never really had tracks where we couldn't, between the two of us, get a halfway decent finish, but there is one track where Bruce and I have never gotten a first place finish, and that would be Chapel Hill, Tennessee. So between the two of us, neither one of us has one of those highly desired director's chairs that they give out.
Even the mod from the Unlimited days with your dad's big one? Wow.
Second place many times. We've done well with the minis there in the past. I've even gotten a second there before, but never before has either one of us gotten a first. So one of these years, we're going to do it.
It's starting to feel like the North and South show. Brandon's talking about, hanging out with the Southern Pullers and how close he is with the Tennessee Tracks team and everything. And you guys, you're way up in Michigan. I mean, you're not a run of the mill Indiana, Ohio puller here. You're from way up north. So maybe it's that North South things get a little dicey for you. Brandon, do you like going up north to pull? He said Farley is the track that he has a hard time with. That's kind of north in your regard.
North.
So,
anytime we can get out of the southern humidity, I'm down. So, at our hometown pool here, Brandenburg, last year, the temperature was like 98-ish, 97. The heat index was 120. So we were all done. We wanted the pool to be over. We wanted the weekend to be over. So going to Toma, we have pulled a few times in Michigan. Always had a great time when we were there. Langford, New York, great event. Love pulling there. I even love going to Jefferson City, Missouri. Anywhere we can run that's different, that's not kind of that typical schedule that we're all used to. I think it's great. Kind of change it up from time to time.
In Jeff City, Missouri, we like to pretend that that's still Southern. We like to say there's just enough clay in that track, and Missouri likes to. We like to throw in with the Kentucky and Tennessee guys anytime we get a chance. We feel that track was a speed track, and it actually reminds me of the Chapel Hill track. It feels like it's got a lot of clay in it. It's a lightning quick track pulling there.
Yeah, we loved it. That co-sanction event, we never pulled with the Outlaw guys, never had any interaction with the Outlaw guys until then. And that was a great event.
Brandon, what else have you driven besides the light super in the light limited super in your life for pulling vehicles?
Light super, light limited, and then a pro stock.
When was a pro stock?
Cody Shays back in 12, 13.
The 1206?
Yeah.
That's now Shelton's, right? Or the sheet metal? Yeah, I don't think there's much left of that other than the sheet metal. So Tyler, what else have you been in the seat of, my man? Besides the
I've driven a mini rod and a 5-engine tractor. That is it.
So was it the big one, Show No Mercy?
Yeah, that was the very first pulling vehicle I ever drove.
It was in Sandwich, wasn't it?
It was in Sandwich. Very well done.
It was like 2008 or 9 because it was when we were running the points.
Yeah, right around there.
Yeah.
Everybody got to watch me go out there and do a horrible job. Had no idea what I was doing. Perhaps not Bruce's best decision throwing me in that as the first thing to drive, but it was fun nonetheless. But there's too much going on with those things.
How old were you?
I want to think I was maybe 18, maybe 17, 18, something like that.
Here you go. Here's a fire suit, and there's 5 of them. Make them sing in harmony, and good luck putting it to the track too. How did that go for you?
It didn't go too bad, other than I came with the throttle, and I mean, it kind of one-wheeled a little bit, which I mean, then I was supposed to backpedal it and ride the one brake a little bit, and then ease back into it and let off the brakes, and I didn't have a damn clue what I was doing. And at the end of the run, Bruce was like, "It one-wheeled on you a little bit. Did you feel that?" I'm like, "No, I didn't feel that. How am I supposed to feel that? Like, there's so much shit going on there. Are you kidding me?" So, yeah.
Did you drive it multiple times, or was that it once and done and then on to the mini rod?
No, multiple times. I think it was twice in one day, or it was back to back. So the way that the NTPA rules are is if you are going to run an unlimited tractor for points, you need to have 2 exhibition passes, I guess, before you can participate in competition, because that's somehow safer if you start out at an exhibition pull versus competing. I'm not sure what the difference is, but nonetheless, that's the way the rules read. Correct me if I'm wrong. And so Bruce at the time wasn't convinced if we were going to be getting rid of the 5-engine tractor. And so if we were going to continue running it the next year, he wanted me to be able to drive it and collect points. So that was me getting my 2 exhibition passes to be legal for NTPA unlimited competitions. So
you knocked him up that Saturday, Tyler, the one day.
Yeah,
the day
I think we pulled twice that day, but yeah, indeed. And then we proceeded to get rid of that tractor, and I tore through like 4 or 5 of the motors off the 5-engine tractor, like my very first year mini rod pulling. In spectacular fashion.
Jordan Medley says Brandon and Tyler need to switch seats one night.
Oh,
name a place. It doesn't matter to me.
Man, I wouldn't know what I'm doing in that thing.
telling you, I mean, the two classes with the most impressive horsepower to weight ratio, mini rods and light supers. I mean, you guys are the two. You never know what's going to happen with the light supers and the mini rods. It's either going to be perfect or it's going to be, like a fist bump kind of a moment. So the ambulance doesn't come and get you kind of a thing, Tyler.
Yep,
I like
but
that.
you guys have a clutch pedal. That seems hard.
Yeah, you got to throw that in there from time to time, and then
seems difficult.
Which one gets, because they're both, I agree, they're the Buck and Broncos of the tractor pulling world, and this is for all 5 of us on the panel. And and Kenzie, you've probably been to as many tractor pulls and watched as anyone in here. Which one do you guys feel has the potential to get out of hand more quickly? A mini rod, it almost feels like you can almost see the writing on the wall when things are going to get a little dicey, but those light supers, it seems like they can really get out of hand in a hurry. But both classes, they can go boom or go bang in a big time. Which one gets out of hand more quickly?
I think they're pretty much a toss up. I mean, they're going to do what they're going to do. We just got to kind of be there to make sure they don't get too out of hand. I've been 300 feet and slamming on the wheelie bars and go one wheel, and I've done that at 100 feet too. So I don't know.
I think what we have going for us to give us the edge in the spectacular category is if you guys get underneath your turbos, things kind of settle down. Where us, like a bunch of jackasses, we can get completely out of the throttle, get turned roughly sideways. Then the sled comes and it hits us, throws us forward. We jam on the throttle again, and you kind of repeat that process about 2 or 3 times for some nice, and everything just goes really, really poorly. So I feel like that kind of gives us the edge in that category.
Larry Kester was the first time I ever saw mini rods. Larry Kester was one of the first drivers I saw. And I mean, he completely backpedaled the throttle to the point where I swear there was slack in the chain. And then he found something again and slammed it forward. And I was like, this is almost terrifying. Like I love tractor pulling, but I'm a little bit scared right now. This is wild.
Yeah, that's good stuff right there. I tried that at Fort Recovery one year early on, and it didn't go well. It just basically took my hitch, pulled it straight down, took the adjuster bolts, folded them backwards at a 45-degree angle. And my dad let me know that once you get out of it and there's slack in the chain, if you think you're still going to do something by getting back into it, you might as well quit driving. Yeah.
Farmer Bruce, knowledge.
Indeed.
Brandon, do you change your weight setup much or just shift up or down depending upon different tracks? Like, do you move some weights or is it more gearing?
Weights always stay on the front of a light super unless you just get on one of those tracks that you probably don't need to be on. Weights stay the same. Well, gears are pretty easy for us. We're forwards and backwards, so we can go. That's all we can do. So hitch is a huge game for us that we play every weekend. And how much the air does change from time to time, but you're talking very minimal increments. Then we just rely on the hitch to keep things smooth and easy going, I guess.
That's a smart move. Everybody talks to me about lowering my hitch, and I have a real hard time with it because I feel like deep down, if I can keep that thing under control, I'm always going to be better off with my hitch all the way up. If that wasn't the case, they wouldn't have a limitation on it having a maximum height. So yeah, perhaps that's why I have so many wreck videos, because I'm not smart enough to understand that.
Tyler, there's a lot of things on your mini rod that you guys prefer kind of a unique or a different way. I've heard you talk in some of your No Practice podcasts and other interviews. Obviously, the first thing you see is, you're sitting in the middle of the chassis as opposed to on top of the axle in the back there. But so you run a higher hitch height. Do something different with your tires as well. Is that something that I've heard you talk about?
Yeah, so I used to run probably the largest lug in the class, but unfortunately I like eating too much and I weigh too much, so I don't have enough front end weight to still afford that. So I'm kind of joining the ranks of the people that run a little bit lesser, shorter lug on the tire to try to keep things manageable, because I'm just sick of fixing things so much. So we talking 100 pounds gained if you drop the hitch an inch.
That's a rule of thumb for us. Yes.
Ah, okay. I didn't follow that, but yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm kind of running more normal tires now, but we do some other things a little bit differently, the way the chassis are built and whatnot, and it seems to work.
Sure.
Would I ever drive a diesel pulling vehicle? I mean, I would, but I wouldn't know what I'm doing on it. So, I mean, I don't think I'd drive it very well. Let's just say that.
Left foot comes up, right hand goes down.
Yeah, see, you got a clutch once again. That's us mini rod people are not smart enough for those things, okay? Oh, Jeremy Tyndall. I remember the first time I seen Tyler on a mini. He ran out of bounds in Pine Tops, North Carolina. He had just got the old Stud Monkey Mini. Yes, that was my third pass ever in a pulling vehicle. And my father told me, well, these mini rods, you got to be careful. You can't just hammer on the brake. You gotta gingerly finesse it. And I'm like, okay, Dad, I got you. And I was like mid-track, and it's heading for the left-hand side. And thankfully, we had a data logger on it because he accused me of like not even hardly touching the brakes. But sure enough, you could see the little lines for brake pressure sensor where I'm just daintily trying to finesse the thing, and it didn't turn at all. And then Bruce promptly the same evening went out of bounds far right, took out the fire extinguishers, the banners, and everything. And that was his first time in a mini rod since I think it was like 1998. So we both learned that evening you need to press on it harder than just like a couple 100 pounds. Like usually when we're hammering on a brake, we've got 1,500 plus PSI of brake pressure, and they'll turn. You just got to get after them.
Brandon, I'm assuming what's your favorite, diesel or alcohol? I don't know if Esden, just down the road for me actually right now. I'm in Nashville.
Yeah. Alcohols are definitely easy, but I think if anyone knows us, my dad and I, and even my brother, diesel all the way. And yeah, that's all I'll say with that right now.
You're saying alcohol is easy. Is that you saying that all the people running alcohol are just taking the easy way out?
No,
that's what I heard. Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, it's I have listened to story after story of Kent Payne rolling bearings in, checking this, checking that, and I'm over here like, yeah, the filter was clean, valves look good. I'll change the oil in it from time to time. We're good to go. So I think. I think you do have to run the diesels a little bit harder, of course. All of the diesel super guys, I envy every one of them for the amount of work that they have to put into those things and keep them going. And it's a lot of hard work. And everybody has their own maintenance program. So, of course, that plays into effect too.
When did you guys switch from, because the Insanity tractor was a diesel tractor for a long time, and then did it take a year off, or did it switch seamlessly? Because it transitioned somewhere.
So the last diesel tractor that we had was the 3-charger setup that ran 2010, and then we sold it to Mike Hoppy. He ran it as the Red Menace for 3 or 4 years, and then he actually switched it over to an alcohol tractor as well. And then that chassis had been sold after that. But yeah, that was the last
So
diesel.
It didn't convert it's a whole new tractor. You sold the diesel version of it and then built an alcohol version.
Yep.
So then your buddy Fuqua, they would have done something similar. That tractor was a 7,500 pound super stock back. Yes. I don't call it a diesel super stock because it was mixed fuel back in the day, but it was a 7,500 pound super stock that happened to be burning diesel fuel.
Yep.
And then it has come back as a light super stock on alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Similar story there, or do you know anything about that, or is that his story to tell?
No, I think it is a similar story. I think Jacob definitely wanted the alcohol. I think Jay definitely wanted to stick with the diesel, and that may be totally flopped. But that was, Jacob, of course, was interested in the alcohol because that's when he got the 2-wheel drive. Loved pulling that. And so then, of course, then it kind of all switched over to the alcohol stuff. So, no, I think it was kind of the same way. And then, of course, Bob Barbie being right there, had all alcohol light supers. So Bob was making cylinder heads, and I think Jay's first tractor did have full pull motorsports cylinder head on it. So all of those guys were kind of all together, just trying new things and doing the alcohol stuff. So
Tyler, if
Jason.
you ran a
I was curious what Jason was thinking in the back of his head as we're talking about how the diesels are harder, the diesels are more expensive, more of a challenge. He's just sitting there quiet, not saying anything. I just wanted to make sure that this was all registering with you, Jason.
I think I'm going in very, very open-minded, Tyler. And this is, I've always said I wanted a national level tractor. I had to do it. I had to get it out of the way. It was either going to be Pro Stock or Super. Doug Meisinger, who owns Scrappy, told me at in Broadbent 2023. He goes, Jason, you're going diesel super, and I'm going to take care of you. And I just said, okay. Mm-hmm. So Mike selling me the tractor shortened up that time frame, because I was just going to, honestly, I was okay taking a couple of years doing it. And Mike wanted to get back into drag racing, and he knew I wanted a diesel super. And I'd like to thank Jeff Hurt for this deal. About 1 a.m, we went into Mike's trailer, and there was some drinking, and there was some talk about me buying the tractor. And I thought it was a joke, because that's what we do with you guys at 1 a.m. We joke about things, and you never know it's serious. Sunday night, Jeff Hurt calls me and goes, Beck was serious. And I'm like, I said, I'm not calling Mike back, and said, were you serious about me buying your tractor? I said, if Mike wants to sell me his tractor, have him call me tomorrow. And he called me on Monday. And now, now I have a diesel super stock.
So, I love it. All right. Yeah. Sorry, Michael. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good, man. I want to know if you hopped, if so we've learned how to work the clutch pedal and we're going super stock pulling. Are you, give me your personal preference based on your fan as a kid, not based on what's easier to maintain. Are you pulling an alcohol or are you pulling a diesel, Tyler?
Oh man, that's tough. I've always admired how hard the diesel guys work at it, but my good buddy Jeff Hurt in Ohio, that thing's a pretty hero or zero, but when it's a hero, it looks like a hell of a pass.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I had to pick one, I think it might be that one, or Mr. Josh Blackburn. He makes those things look like a pretty good ride too. So I think it'd be a coin toss in between Jeff Hurt or Josh Blackburn's ride, or Josh Blackburn's old ride, I should say. Got to clarify.
Yeah, because if you watch No Practice Podcast, I remember which one that was. Brandon Phillips, most memorable ride. Doesn't have to be good. It could be good. Like, when do you know on a light super that this bitch is gone?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, honestly, by 100 feet, you really do. Front end's up, you're going. I'm gonna go with Jefferson City, Missouri, 2000, I don't know, 15-ish. It was the last year that they had it. I actually won that. It was a brand new set of tires that Chad Mayhill put on, a set of rims, and he said, "Hey, take these, try them. Let's see what we can come up with." Okay. Yeah, simple enough. Did that, won the event, and it was soon after that the tire game had definitely started changing, and probably don't want to get off on that tangent on tires, but there's plenty of options out there. But Chad sharpened our tires for years now, and he knows I'm always texting him some off the wall stuff like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And he'll tell me his honest opinion. I'm like, "Oh yeah, that was pretty stupid." Yeah. Okay. And then then we'll go on. But Chad works hard and does good at it. So I'll go with Jeff City on that one.
Tyler, when do you know you're gone? Like, when do you know that we're going to win tonight? And then give me some of your best rides, getting hooked up and going.
I would say, like Brandon was saying, we probably honestly know within the first 50 feet. If things are just hooking in good, you're not having to ride the brakes off the line, and you throw that thing wide open and it just settles in and doesn't jerk side to side at all, and you're just gone. You know at that point by 50, 75 foot that she's going to just be soaring out the end. So I would say my most memorable win would have to be when I built my first, I guess I'll call it cab forward mini rod, which was honestly the first chassis, that I was heavily involved with building. My dad and I rolling up all the tubing, cutting everything, laying out all the plates for the hitch. I mean, just building everything from scratch, start to finish. And that was the first one we had ever made. That was that cab forward design. and we brought it to a pull, and it was a Grand National pull, and I had never won a Grand National pull at that point. And of course it was different. It was weird. It was unproven. And so, a lot of people were like, that thing's hideous. It looks like a piece of shit. It's not going to do anything. And the very first time that chassis pulled at an NTPA Grand National event was my very first Grand National win. And so that was just a culmination of events. That feeling when you back up to the sled after putting one of those together all yourself, building the fenders, building the frame, building the roll cage, building the fuel tanks, building the motor plates, and that chain gets tight and you're like, holy shit, there is so many things I could have screwed up that are about to go wrong. And everything actually just goes right. And you cover the field. That's a Disney movie moment right there. So that one is going to be pretty hard to get out of my head for sure.
Where was that at?
It was Ricky Rose's pull. Somebody help me out on that.
Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Father's Day weekend, 2024. So, all right.
Hey,
so go ahead, Brandon.
I was going to say one other probably memorable moment was it was actually my third time ever driving a light super stock. First time I ever drove was in Toma, Wisconsin. So pulled twice there, went to Georgetown, Ohio 2 weekends after that. This was the year that Esden had just came out with the light super diesel. And like I said, third time ever on the tractor. Go to Georgetown. Esden's leading the class. I'm last in the class. I beat Esden, win that session there. So that's the one and only time I've ever got a pull against Esden, and which of course Esden's king of smoke, right? So
yes,
you beat the
king.
It was
pretty memorable being able to pull against him.
A recent Beer Money poll has him listed as the most popular driver in truck and tractor pulling. I threw that question out there, and Esden Lane, that name pops up. You could ask a question on our Facebook page saying, "What's your favorite flavor of popsicle?" And there's going to be 37 comments that reference that to Esden Lane somehow. He's got to be the most popular puller of all time.
Okay. One of my favorite things about the No Practice podcast is your segments, Tyler. And then Mike and I'm like, Mike, we got to do something like that. Kenzie, you haven't talked all night long. So let's have our first ever Kenzie has to ask a question segment. So Kenzie, unmute yourself.
Okay.
You have to ask Brandon a question. You have to ask Tyler a question. And then return. Brandon doesn't know you from a hole in the ground, Kenzie. Tyler knows you.
That's not.
Well, I mean, I don't mean it like that, but you know what I'm trying to say. So, but yeah, Kenzie, you go first. You ask Brandon a question, then Tyler. And then Brandon and Tyler are going to come back and ask you a question.
Okay.
Right.
Is there one track that surprised you? Either way, good or bad? It's hello.
One track that surprised me.
Yeah.
Like you thought it was going to be mean and it wasn't, or vice versa?
Vice versa, Farley, Iowa. It will kick your butt when you least expect it. Yeah, it was definitely one of those.
Tyler agrees.
So we first year we were there. Jim Miller's building the track. I can't remember even who's first in the class. Needless to say, it went real bad, real quick, and all of us guys at the starting line are like, "Holy crap, where'd that come from?" And I would say that one snuck up on us pretty good. Otherwise, no, I think all the other tracks have kind of been pretty predictable in a sense of, looking at them and being able to kind of figure out what to do.
Farley. We're going to get to I Hate Farley, Iowa t-shirt for Brandon Phillips.
Yeah.
Tyler, anything? Tell us a couple times you just got completely, whoa.
Cool.
I love that. You would say like, wow, I guess I was wrong tonight.
In all honesty, it's going to be a poll that not too many people know of, but this past year, Hudsonville, Michigan, which is just a region poll, it's one of the few times we get to pull in Michigan. It's like 5-6 miles from our house. And I mean, we pulled at Bowling Green, Hillsboro, Farley, all these places with fantastic tracks and everything. And kudos to those places. But we went to Hudsonville, Michigan. And, we're just running our normal gear and our normal setup. It's just a region pull, but we didn't detune anything. And we go out there and both of our tractors just hung their tongues out. Because you're not thinking this is just going to be like a badass horsepower track. And we went out there and, I mean, our RPMs were down probably 800 RPMs, so much so to where I was talking with Todd Boltman, the following week, and he's like, I don't know if something's going on, if I got to change my camshaft or if my my coil's getting weak. And I'm like, are you referencing Hudsonville? And he's like, yeah, I am. I was like, I am here to tell you that both of our tractors fell on their faces when we opened them up. So I don't know what they did to that dirt. I don't know if they're going to have a pull again this year or not, but that one blew us away. We're like, how's this track 6 miles from our house just taking more power than anything we've been on all?
They are having a pull, Tyler. They are having a pull again.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
They hired us to promote it on social media. I have to jump into our Google Doc, but I know they're having one.
Well, there
so
you
Victoria says, Brandon, shut up. They're not going to go back to Farley. No. If you want to pull in Farley, Simons have to own a vehicle to pull in that class. So you have to sell them a light.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how they pick their class.
Well, Loud and Light got him via Farley. It was it was a dealership vehicle. How they own something and make a pass on it and sell it. So it's got roots there.
Yeah. Honestly, as much weight as I feel like RJ has been losing, I feel like he's got his eyes set on a mini rod. That guy's shedding the LBs, and he's going to be right there with me shortly. And I feel like he'll get another mini rod.
I've tried getting Jody to take it back, but she's not about it. I love it.
RJ said everything's for sale. Brandon says that we're going to keep what he enjoys pulling. So it's kind of funny listening to them two guys.
Yeah, I'll bet you it'd be pretty hard to buy Brandon's modified tractor right about now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kenzie, jump in the Google Drive under Hope's social media and find out when Hudsonville is, or do a Google search for us. But because Courtney Dawn, the beautiful future Mrs. Tyler Slagh, says, I heard Hudsonville is not having a region hook this year. Hope I'm wrong, though. Hometown pool is fun. I know they're having something there, Tyler. I'm not sure, buddy. Okay. I know they're having something.
Okay.
Coltrane
Jason,
Energy checking in. Hey,
where
Coltrane.
was the pool that you guys debuted the high-tech redneck? It was in Michigan somewhere, wasn't it?
Hillsdale, Michigan.
Okay, so different pool then.
That was, I called WIT, and I kind of have like one goal left in life, and that's to send my dad down the track at Louisville, right? So I called WIT, and I'm like, hey, I bought high-tech redneck. Yeah, I heard. I'm like, what's it going to take to? He said, oh, we just don't like throwing somebody who's never driven a diesel super before into Louisville. So we went.
September 27th. September 27th.
Okay,
Hillsdale.
what is it got for classes?
Oh, Hudsonville. Wrong one. Never mind.
Sorry. No, Hudsonville, Michigan. That's what we want.
Hillsdale?
No, Hudsonville.
Hudsonville, yeah. That's why I said never mind.
Oh, okay. The big bad Brandon Simon's going to be on season 3 of Behind the Hook.
Call me Tyler. I'd price it.
What's the famous RJ, Tyler? It's on
for sale, not on sale.
Yes, for sale, not on sale. I don't know how many zeros Brandon's going to use on that, but I know it's way too many for me. That's for sure.
Ask him if he's interested in an even trade.
No, not interested.
It's a West Michigan. I've never heard of West Michigan puller, Zach. Wonder what classes they have. I don't know if they have big minis or not. I'm guessing they don't, Tyler, but maybe.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. We'll find out. Kenzie's doing a little research right now. She's my Joe Rogan assistant there.
I like it.
Jody Simon. I vote you get a Pro Stock. Phillips. There you go.
Well, Jody, we vote that you guys get minis back in Farley. So how about that?
Yeah, well, I told you they got to own a tractor in the class, and they'll have the class. Maybe if you're right about RJ getting into mini rod weight, like a jockey, like a horse riding jockey.
Hey,
I like it.
Jason, you were kind of asking us the question where kind of like our favorite pull was, favorite pulling event, and kind of memorable moment. What would have to be one of yours?
So I'm not a good driver, Brandon. I want to be a good driver. When I get to the pull, all I'm worried about is why aren't there more people here? Why aren't the stands full? And then let's go. We got to make sure we go get good video. Like Brandon, good promotion of a 2-day pull on Friday night. You can pack the stands on Saturday night. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So for me, driving wise, God, I'm trying to remember. I got my first win on my dad's D21 when I was like 18 years old, somewhere in Iowa, with East Central Iowa. And I had to drink an Old Milwaukee, and I've never drank a full beer since then. Tyler knows I like some vodka and some whiskey. No, I've had to chug I had to chug one with Tyler once. That's right.
Yeah, Pullers Championship last year. You shotgunned one with me.
Yeah, because Tyler is one of you. If you think you can shotgun a beer, walk up to that man in the top left corner of your screen and egg him on. But Brandon, some of my best memories are going to be watching my dad drive my tractor. He's the one who gave me, he let me drive his tractor back in the day, and it's my turn to repay that favor to him. So I'm excited to watch him do that. This year, we're just going to go out and see what we got. I just spent a lot of money buying it, and I hope it doesn't break. That's all I'm going to say, because it might be sitting. So, just being brutally honest with you guys, but that's what it's all about. I'm excited for that. Growing up in Iowa, Brandon, just ITPA, NTPA back in the day, Iowa State Fair, stuff like that. It's some good memories. So, yep. So yeah, I just have never been done awesome. I've always had a good machine, Brandon, because I'll spend the money and I'll take it to the right people, but I always have to let other people drive it. And I just finally have owned it that I'm not the best driver in the world. So I'd rather just enjoy watch my dad drive it. So I'm excited for that this summer and beyond, because after this, there's nothing bigger in the diesel world than a diesel super. So I'm pretty stoked to be there. Brandon, what's the coolest thing a fan, Tyler, and this is coming back to you too. What's the coolest thing a fan's ever done to you or asked you to do? And I'm guessing there's going to be two different kinds of stories with my buddy Tyler. I did Ice Baby Tyler down at one of those dueling piano bars in the big cities. What are those called? Howl at the Moons?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Tyler, I got to sign an entire bachelorette party's chess with a Sharpie. But my wife was there, Brandon. Okay, I know Victoria's watching. And I asked my wife for permission, but I blew that place up, Tyler.
A true man of class, Jason.
A true man of class.
Yeah.
So, Brandon, what's the coolest thing? What's the best fan interaction? A kid, an adult? What's just some goosebump type stuff?
So, as anyone may knows, and I know Farmer Bruce does, because usually we go head to head at some Make-A-Wish auctions here. It's definitely got to be anytime kids or Make-A-Wish kids or anybody comes up to me and wants me to sign something, get on my tractor, do whatever. I'll do whatever they ask me. If they want to start it, by all means, I don't care what you do. If it makes your day, hey, have at it. I'm good. I'm here for the kids. The younger generation is who we're relying on to keep the sport going anyways. So, and adults too. I mean, if anybody comes up to me and wants to set on the tractor, anybody's more than welcome, unless it's like, 2 tractors before I got a hook or something like that. Don't do that.
Mike, don't go up to Brandon Friday night and say, like when he's pulled up the start line, say, "Can I sit on your tractor, Mike?"
Yeah.
Well, no, I do want to. I did notice that the entire time that we were at booth 3194 in Louisville, Kentucky, and I sat in front of the beautifully brand new wrapped Remedy for 4 straight days, never once was I invited to sit in the cock seat of that, or in the cockpit of that vehicle. So my inner child was bummed out that I did not get to sit in the seat of the Remedy at Louisville.
Abby from Coltrane sat in it, so I'm as happy as I'll ever be.
That was you had other priorities.
Yes, I was. Okay, Brandon, to answer your question, this is a good memory, and I forgot about it. Cowtown Showdown, Kansas City. I won that, and I got so deep into. I was last puller in the class, Brandon, and you had to go in. Like there was no, and they weren't floating it or anything, no pull off. And I went in so deep that I got on my wheelie bars, so my rear tires kept spinning. And I was just shaking, Phillips, just shaking. And the flag guy goes up and goes, "Hey, Jason, can you push on your brakes for me?" And I'm like, yeah. I forgot about that. I forgot all about that. That was a fun night. So my hero, Travis, says, "No worries, Jason. You can run all year without breakage in the diesel super class." It is, I'm just proud to be, I'm happy to be here. That's all I'm going to say. I'm just happy to be here. I get to pull with my heroes. It's going to be pretty cool. Tyler, fan interaction.
Yes. Oh, I would say the best.
Let's do something. We could tell it Sunday at church, and then let's do something that we could tell on the No Practice podcast.
All right,
and not have Courtney hate you after the show.
No, we'll do only a feel good story. All right, we got to keep this family friendly. We always go to the pull in Shipshewana down there, and just drink beer and watch the pull and have a good time, even though they don't have our class. And there was some pulling fans sitting behind us, and we're watching the event go and everything. And then they realized who we were, and they get talking to us, and we were talking about going to the truck show, not this past year, but the year before. And his parents were like, yeah, we'd really like to go to that. And their son that was 16 was like, man, I'd really like to go to that too. And we're just facing forward and kind of intermittently chit-chatting with him. And he said it really comes down to, because he was going to college, and he said, so maybe he was 18, I don't know, I'm messing up the numbers. He said, the thing is it's going to cost me $40 in gas to drive from college to his parents' place so that he can ride with them down to the truck show and take part in the pull. And his parents were like, well, if you can piece that together, we'll buy you a ticket and we'll go. And he's like, man, I'd really love to go, but I don't know if I can justify that right now. And I had been getting into the beers pretty good. And so at the end of the evening, I was like, hey, I heard you say earlier, if you had another $40 that you'd give up your whole weekend and you'd go down to the truck show to the pull with your parents. I'm like, is that true? He's like, yeah. I reached in my wallet, I hauled out 2 20s, and I handed them to him. And I said, well, I'd better see your ass down at the truck show. And I completely forgot about it.
Okay,
fast forward to the truck show, and we're getting tacked, and we've got everything in there, and we're getting everything situated. And all of a sudden, here were these parents, and here was this kid standing there, and he's like, hey, I put your $40 to good use. I'm here. I was like, what? And he's like, from Shipshewana. I was like, oh, no kidding. You actually showed up. I expected him to just take the money and run. But yeah. So he showed up for that. And I thought that was pretty cool. I'd completely forgotten all about it. And that was, in my mind, a long time later. Hell, I wouldn't have remembered if I was him. But that stood out to me.
That's a good story. I love how you said I was into the beers.
Into the beers.
Yeah.
Would you ever drive a 2-wheel drive, Tyler?
I mean, hell, I'll drive any stinking thing. It doesn't matter to me.
I like it.
I like the 2-wheel drive class for the competitiveness. I mean,
yes.
I give it to those guys that I know sometimes people give them a hard time, but that is a class where I feel like over half the pulls they go to is like the mini rod class at Bowling Green, where there is 30 to 40 vehicles.
Yep.
Every single one of them has top-notch stuff. And plus, what the 2-wheel drive class has going for it is I've heard those guys can run like a season without having to cut their tires, which just seems like a myth to me. I can't even fathom that. So I'm quite jealous of that. And my dad's driven one a couple times, when the Simons just have their rotation of 2-wheel drive trucks. He's got to run one before, and he's like, that ain't all bad, but it's pretty slow pace compared to the mini rod. But he still took RJ up on it a couple times, so it couldn't have been too bad.
What's CJ talking about here, Tyler or Brandon? RJ said I have to put 2 years in before he would get me a mini rod to pull. So is he really going to go work for Simons? Is he moving?
Yeah, well, that's us keeping that story running. Every time we get on here, CJ always says he's checking in from Farley, Iowa. So once CJ hits his 2-year mark, he'll get a mini rod. Farley will have minis back, and we'll all have CJ to thank for it. So
I love it. Were any clearance issues with the Coltrane lady? Nope, she got on there. There's her TikTok. Her TikTok, it has quite a few views. Go to the Coltrane TikTok and you'll see what I'm talking about.
What are they getting at there, Jason?
I didn't get it at first.
Her cans would be in the way.
Cans of Coltrane, or what's going on there?
The boobs and the Coltrane, yes. And Abby, and I love her. Abby knows I love her, so it's all good. So it's all good. They're going to be at the Pullers Championship this weekend. Tyler, you and I, Brandon, are getting a picture with Abby from Coltrane this weekend.
Okay.
There you go. Sounds good. I was actually about to say I've never had a Coltrane drink, so I was asking if they were going to be at Pullers Championship.
Come on, they're delicious.
I know.
Yeah, they sponsor the Outlaws and PPL, and they're coming.
They really are.
They really are good. We had them with us at the farm show, Brandon, in our booth. And so the farm show, everybody thinks they're the boss at the farm show, and then there's always a boss of them that they didn't tell you about. And we said, can we bring in some of our partners? Yeah, whatever you want to do, Jason. All right, cool. So they were giving out, they were selling coal trains for $1 on Wednesday and Thursday. Remember, Mike?
Yep.
And then the vendor people, I think they got jealous because their $6 bottled waters probably weren't selling as well versus a $1 coal train. So they came down there and we had a nice discussion. And then this first girl must have been like an intern because she's like, they have to leave right now. And we're like, just relax. You need to talk to your boss. And she's like, I said, ma'am, just go get me your boss. And the manager came down and she was super cool. And then after we showed insurance, and then they just gave it away the rest of the weekend. They went through 2 or 3 pallets of it,
which only benefited them because you know how you go to something and like trends break out while you're there, and like you're not a cool kid unless you're like doing the trend. But if you weren't, like, this is just what I noticed, if you weren't double fisting coal trains walking around the farm show by Saturday, like you weren't one of the cool kids. Like you just it completely took off. So it only benefited them, I think, by making it free instead of making it $1.
Well, yeah, you got to think about that logic. Nobody wants to buy our bottled stuff for $6 because theirs is $1. So we'll just give it away, and now you guys are going to be in a better spot. That maybe wasn't a good move.
Well, it worked out for us. I'm very happy with them. So that they chose that way because they're like, yeah, you can just give away whatever you want. And they're like, okay. The first they were going to make them put them in little cups. They decided to do that. What's this front flip in Raleigh that Jeremy's been asking me about here, Tyler?
That was the first time I ever went to a tractor pull without my father, and it didn't go so well. I would say that was my
t-shirt.
First, yeah, right. That would be my first, wild ride and wreck there down in Farley, where I came unhooked from the sled, and that was the reason for the rule change for the mini rods to go from a 1/2-inch bolt through the hitch to a 5/8 bolt. Because my 1/2-inch bolt sheared like somebody took a plasma cutter or a sawzall to both sides of it, and the tractor went up in the air, and it came down, and it went up, and it slammed back down. And honestly, I think that was the beginning of the ambulance repellent, because I got out, and I fist pumped, and people ran over to me, and they were wondering if I was all right, and I thought they were going to give me high fives, so I just high fived them.
They're coming out there with medical equipment, and it's like you just won the World Series.
Yeah, right. So we got a telehandler out, and we picked it up by the roll cage, and we brought it back, and I'm like, yeah, sorry, Dad. And he's like, I'm not that mad because your ass is gonna fix it. So, and he helped me with it, so I can't complain too bad. But the best part about that is everybody was getting wild and crazy, lifting the front ends and everything. And I know Larry Richwine quite well, and he knew that I didn't really ever lower my hitch. I'm like, they have a limit on that for a reason. It's a competitive advantage to keep it as high as you can. And he looked at me and he said, Tyler, are you going to lower your hitch? And I said, no, I'm not. I said, if I can get that drove through the first 100 foot, nobody will be able to touch me. And he's like, you're going to end up in the hospital tonight. I was like, nah, I'll be fine. And I wasn't exactly fine. That was probably the most concussed I'd say I've ever been from a mini rod wreck. But yeah, we fixed it, and we pulled again another day. So,
what time was it when you interviewed Bernie and those guys last week on No Practice? What time was it over there?
Those guys stayed up till 2 a.m. to get on the podcast with us, and stayed on and drank beer and shot the shit until 4 a.m. And then they had to get up at 9 a.m. to go to a poll. But I will say, though, the European crowd showed out the next day, because that little interview we did probably has over double the views of anything we had done prior. I think it's at like 13,500. So like, they're not kidding. Those European pullers, they got a following. That's for
and
sure.
Chase wasn't on there too. So
yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of a skewed statistic because Chase wasn't on there. That probably boosted the numbers alone for sure.
Who would vote for Tyler if he ran for president? Please let us know in the comments.
I have too many skeletons in my closet. I'm not a polished individual. I'm borderline walking around homeless all the time, wearing my weathered Crocs. I've got them on right now. So yeah.
So Brandon,
who's your running mate? Who's your campaign mate?
Tyler, who's your vice president?
I wouldn't even be worthy of one.
I want a sign in my front yard that says Slagh, and I need to put an and with it.
No, sir, Tyler, I'm going to ask Brandon a question. We're going to come back to you. I want to know who your vice presidents could be. Brandon, you and Tyler both outran the punt coverage when you found your women. Okay, that's a compliment to your women in your life. How did you find her? How did you talk her into marrying you? And how many kids do you guys have?
Oh, this is interesting. So,
yeah,
I guess we have. So, if my father-in-law is watching, he can definitely comment on here because he will say that Tori and I had met back when I think I was still wet behind the ears, as my dad says. And I don't recall that. It was in Georgetown, Ohio. So, kind of fast forward, just through polling, Tori's dad, Tony, does have the Indiana Hot Farm. It's that 9,500-pound class. And so just through polling, we're good friends with Zach Howe and Candace and all of those. So we had went to a few IPL polls and just to kind of seen a female off in the distance. And I'm like, you know what? She's pretty good looking. So one thing kind of led to another. And then we started, I don't even remember how numbers got exchanged or how
that's
how that
back
worked.
when you still had to do that, right, Brandon? You just
Yes.
Snapchat or whatever.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. We had to get the numbers. So started that, and then she was 2 hours away from me, and so it was kind of I'm not going to say a long distance relationship, but we both enjoyed pooling, and after a few years of being together, we went to college together. As soon as we moved back from college, then got married and now have one 3-year-old that enjoys pulling and is full of life more than anyone is. So,
what's his name?
Grayson.
Grayson.
Yep.
After Grayson Shelton.
You could say that. Yeah. Hey, that's a good family. That's a good family. Hey, it was either that or Miles, and it was because of Miles Krieger too. So it was a toss-up. But hey, no, the Shelton family is a great family.
I want you to have one more kid and name it Reese and then Camille. You got
there you go. Yeah.
Oh, this is my favorite question of the night. This Simon, what year did the joint Facebook account happen? That's
I have no idea because I don't. I couldn't even tell you the login on the Facebook, so I really don't know. She gets the whole computer thing set up, and I do that, and I was like, I'm never on Facebook. I don't have Snapchat, Instagram, any of that. So of course, YouTube quite often, just learning different things. But that's a Tory doing there, and it's nothing. I don't know. I guess it's just that's the way it ended up
Here we
being.
go. They're not coming back to
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. This is the best. Yeah. This is the best. So is Grayson coming this weekend, Brandon?
Yep. Yeah, he'll be with us.
Kenzie, make sure we get him a Future Polar shirt, okay?
Okay.
Love your wife, not you. That is money. That is money.
Brandon coming in with the hard-hitting questions this evening.
Brandon is so awesome. Like, he does it when he talks, it's just money. It is just money. It just freaking floors me every time. I love it. Tyler, so we have one vote. Chuck Fowler will vote for you for president. So you got one vote. So you're head of the Democrats. Yeah. Who would your vice president be?
Oh, I would have to say probably Adam Bauer.
Slagh Bauer.
Nice.
Yeah.
I would trust that. I would trust that. Our country is moving in the right direction now. If I'm getting a sign made, I will be your first one to start your campaign trail right out here in Macon County, Missouri. You'll see the first sign in my yard, Slagh Bauer 24.
There was a Colin Burkholz said something about Bauer earlier. Wasn't Adam like the first No Practice podcast? Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I went back and listened to the Adam Bauer one. I think that's episode 1.
Yeah.
I don't know why you call this a No Practice podcast, because Mom and Dad gave me a practice track. Where's yours?
That's what I love. That's him just leaning into it and just being like, I don't care. That guy cares about nothing, and I admire that trait about him.
2 votes for Tyler Slagh. Tyler, Courtney Dawn. She's awesome. Tell the world how you swept her off her feet, and she's still with you, and why.
I met her back when I was like 15 years old because I was dating one of her friends, and my friend was dating her. And so her parents' house was the first time that I ever drove and drove illegally, I guess I should say. So I was 15 years old, and my dad was probably gone at a tractor pull somewhere, and I had a vehicle there that I knew how to drive, and I was convinced that if I was towing a trailer, I could not get pulled over by the cops because nobody, when they don't have a license, is towing a trailer, right? And so I hooked up to a trailer, and I threw my dirt bike on it, and I went to my buddy's house, and we loaded up his dirt bike, and we went to Courtney's parents' house, and her and her friend had some four-wheelers, and we rode around for hours, and that's pretty much how I got to know her. So illegal activity right out of the gate.
You cannot be. This is your first act as president. If you are pulling a trailer, you cannot be pulled over because of inherent intentions or something.
In hindsight, it's kind of terrible logic, but at the same time, my success rate is 1 for 1. So that's pretty good. Yeah.
Brandon, you mentioned the construction business earlier. What do you guys do?
So we do everything from ground level and below. So we don't do any buildings. We'll do anything from ground level to however deep you want to go. We've been 60 and 70 feet in the ground doing pump stations. So that can get quite interesting, but otherwise do a lot of roads. We do a lot of work for our government. Chase and us, we do a lot of work together. And anything. We will build a McDonald's, any type of restaurant, hotels, apartment complexes, subdivisions, really anything dirt related or underground utility related.
Awesome.
What's the biggest nightmare you've ever had at work?
Okay, so this is a good one.
I don't want to hear about when things go right. I want to hear about when things go catastrophically wrong.
So of course, we all know 811, call before you dig. We have all these scenarios we got to go into and take precautions with. So, we have a lot of fun at work. We joke around. It's kind of hard to joke around with 100 people sometimes, but we try to have fun. So there was one project that we were digging along the side of I-65, and somehow or the other, the lead foreman of that crew had got a shredded up piece of fiber optic cable that was like a 700 cluster.
Ooh!
So it was like a 2 foot long piece, and that night everybody leaves. The foreman comes back as a joke, sticks this fiber optic cable into the side of the trench. They come back the next morning. Everybody, of course, is freaking out. They're seeing this 700 cluster sticking out of the side of the wall, and everybody thought it was a really big joke. I, on the other hand, did not. And so that piece is actually sitting in my office on my top shelf, and it is never to be ever on a job site again because that is a total scare. And it turned out it was actually the main communication between Nashville and Indianapolis for medical emergency, 911, and all that. This is this fiber optic line that we're working around. And
holy crap!
Of course, we laughed about it at that time, but it was definitely not something to laugh about during that time. But it was a lot of fun. We've been in towns before where we're digging in the middle of the roads, and nobody knows what the utility is. And we've done this with gas lines. The utility companies come out, grab a drill a hole in it. Yep, it's a live line. Patch it and go on. So, why spend half a day to figuring out if it's live or not when you can just drill a hole in it? I told you guys they were nuts, but
okay.
It's you of course have a ton of scare and anxiety and kind of this caution as you're digging in the ground. Of course, there's one field that's actually not too far away from here that has one of the highest voltage transmission lines that's underground that is only 6 feet in the ground. So it's like it's not something that's super deep. So you can just start digging across this farm field and hit this electric line if you don't call in locate or something like that. So it's we do have a lot of fun. And Chase, I have to tell you some of the stories with the government, but that's for another day.
That sounds like no practice podcast.
So do you guys work side by side? Do you do work with Chase?
Yeah.
Eat
for Well, I never knew that.
Yep. So
you ever find anything cool, like some arrowheads or a dead body or something like that?
All the above, yes and yes.
Really?
Dead body.
Oh yeah. We do a lot of work around Indian burial grounds. Any type of we do a lot of. So Fort Knox is a military base that's right here close to us, and so of course we're always working around either exploded ordnance or unexploded ordnance. So there's a lot of safety precautions that we practice and have to kind of include into our daily work routine. So no, it is quite interesting what we do get into. But yes, Tyler, all of the above. Just another joke. There is a large lake on the other side of our county, and we had just dredged it a year and a half ago. And there was always this talk like, yeah, you're going to find this out there. You're going to find this out there. Then just a random guy walks up to the job site one day and he was like, hey, let me know when you find my cousin over there. And we're like, you're joking, right? And he kind of says, I'm just joking, and walks off. Well, the next day, a dog mysteriously finds a bone in the dirt and brings it back to this house, and everybody starts freaking out. And come to find out it was just a pig bone, but job was shut down for a few days. And so, yeah, I mean, there's always kind of interesting stuff to come up with in the construction world.
What was more intense, the 700 cluster fiber optic cable or the dead body?
No, definitely the fiber, because because that number to fix that is like $1 million a minute or something stupid.
Come on, is it really?
Oh yeah. And the closest guy that was going to be able to fix that line, because we had them on standby, he was actually from like Charleston area. So I mean, he was a few hours away before he was even getting here. So yeah, it would.
Come on, that must be an exaggeration. $1 million a minute?
Yeah, it's a substantial number. I'll verify that number and get back with you, but it's
yeah, I'm gonna need to know. No way. 60 million an hour.
Yep, sure will.
Doggone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Definitely.
I can understand. Yeah, screw the dead body. That'd get mine. 60 million an hour. Good grief.
We've done all the above. I mean, we've moved graves. We've done it all. So.
Moved graves?
Is it true that the Freedom Hall dirt comes from the Phillips farm?
No.
Just you laugh.
Easy answer.
Tyler, did you hear that laugh? That had a little truth to it.
Yeah. I feel like. So, do you know where it comes from?
There's a very local, close proximity site that it does come from. Yes.
Okay, and it's reused every year, right?
It is reused every year. It's added to just because, Tyler, I don't know how many times that you've got back to the trailer or gotten home and blew a 5-gallon bucket of dirt off.
Oh yeah, I took it home with me.
100 vehicles. Oh yeah, it adds up over the years. So a lot of people don't think about that, but it definitely does add up. And you take a mod, I would hate to even see some of the dirt that comes off of those things. So
yeah, it's not great.
And didn't know Chase actually worked. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what friends are for. Having me and Travis.
That's right.
I think a lot of people are they're now going to start working on fiber.
Yeah. Tyler was asking not out of the public good, but out of a potential career change here. He was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, we have fiber optic guys that are running around town like crazy. That so a lot of our internet around here is fiber now. So there is no real like satellite or dish TV that is kind of existing around here anymore. So all of ours is a direct line. So it could be tornadoes in the area, and as long as the lines are still connected on each end, then we can watch TV, have internet, whatever the case may be.
Nice. Well, that's really what you want in the middle of a tornto is to be able to have
right. Exactly.
If I lose Netflix in the middle of a tornado.
Yeah.
You got to get your video on TikTok. Tyler, what do you do for a living, sir, besides your OnlyFans account?
Well, I don't have that. I'm not near handsome enough. But we build automated filling and capping equipment. So somebody sends us a bottle, whether it be for organic milk or for some sort of household product or pharmaceutical stuff, we build the machines. The bottles come in, they get filled up, the cap gets put on them, and they come out the other side. So my grandfather started that company back in 1976, I believe it was. And that's where I work now with my father and my cousin and my uncle and 23 of us total. So, yeah.
Nice. What's
if anybody out there needs a machine to put, anybody out there needs a machine to put liquid in a bottle and get the cap put on it, whether it be a distillery or a small farm, we do it all.
That was a good line there. We do it all.
Yeah.
Big or small, we do it all.
We really do. We build some of them that are the size of card tables that sell for, $10,000 that you just put the bottles on by hand. That, I feel like cow sharing is a big thing. So if you want like unpasteurized milk, that's kind of illegal to sell, but you can do cow sharing where you buy part of a cow and then technically it's your milk. And so these places will buy these machines and that's how they'll put it into a bottle. So we don't actually do any bottling. I'm not out here selling unpasteurized milk, just to be clear, but we will sell these machines all over the world, big and small. It doesn't matter. We'll do it.
That's awesome. Kenzie, you got any questions for the boys before we let them go? It's getting past our bedtime.
Yeah. So you mentioned moving graves earlier. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So two kind of stories with the graves. So my dad is one of those that, if he can make money at doing it, we're going to do it. Right. So at Fort Knox, there was this graveyard that was, this is the first story, no dead bodies included here, but there was 300 graves. There was a big ceremony coming to town, and there was 300 graves that had, kind of just leaned over or just kind of had some issues. So we actually went in, straightened up every one of the headstones, moved them all, pressure washed them, had to spray this little sealer on them and do that. So we were there for about 3 weeks. Just messing around the graveyards and adjusting graves. Moving of the graves, total legit deal. Actually, a recent project. Yes, there was 8 of them total, and of course, you have a ton of local officials involved, coroners involved, and they tell you if everything has been moved and moved properly and is all included. So.
All included, like that's an interesting way to phrase that, and I didn't click until I started thinking. I was like, oh, that's what I know what that means.
You wouldn't want to be out there hungover, running the excavator, ripping a casket in half. That'd be a pretty bad deal.
Right.
Do the caskets age pretty well underground?
It depends on the cover.
So sometimes no.
Sometimes no.
Ooh, you see any limage? Little hand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's it's
not great.
It's a job, but
it is a job. Yeah, but yeah. Ooh,
yeah.
Okay.
No,
this is awesome.
It's amazing what some developers will do. We're just the construction company, so we're not the actual developer. So it's amazing the amount of money that people will spend to preserve what is right to be preserved, relocate it, give it its landmark, give it its recognition that it deserves, so that way they can move forward with the project.
How's that work? Do the people that bought the grave, do they get reimbursed or there's so many logistical things.
Sure.
I think the copyright is worn out, Tyler. I think it's like a Disney film. After 100 years, it becomes like it's like a public domain, something like that. So
eventually you can use Mickey Mouse in whatever cartoons you want, and eventually you can move graves. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, on that note,
how do you follow that? My goodness.
Yeah, no, we get ourselves involved in a lot of interesting projects. Like I said, from military to a little bit of everything. We just completed one of the. Actually, this was a project with Chase. We just completed one of the largest tank range training facilities in the country. So
underground,
all of our military It's digital air ground, so it's a helicopter, so it's air and ground based, and it's completely new things. There's articles all over it. Everyone's more than welcome to look up the Dagger project, and it's a lot of new.
Kenzie, get to searching.
I was going to say, are you going to be murdered in your sleep tonight for telling us about this, or
no? Not at all. No, it's a completely public project that was announced. It tells exactly what it does, how it works, and it's the Dagger project. So,
but you've certainly done some things you can't talk about.
Yes. Yeah. There's multiple projects. Chase, speak up there, bud.
Chase won't tell me anything. That guy's a locked door.
Metal detector search before you go into any of these projects. Yeah, I mean, it's some of these things are the real deal.
Okay. All right.
Well, we are excited to see the both of you this weekend, Friday, 6 p.m., Saturday, 6 p.m. at the Pullers Championship. If you can't be there, thepullerschampionship.com is where you can find the live stream. And again, this is the only event that I know, Tyler and Brandon, and this is our outdoor Louisville. This was our dream, that where we turn the puller into the promoter, and the more people that come through the stands, fill the stands, and buy the live stream, the more money you guys make. So that's something. This has kind of been our dream, and we're on year number 3. So we're excited, and to have big name pullers like yourselves be part of it and enjoy it. And Tyler do fantastic flips in the air for the crowd and give us the ambulance repellent. Dude, Tyler, that is money.
Hopefully not this year.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
Hey, Jason, I just sent you that link so Kenzie doesn't have to look too hard for it.
Okay, cool. I'll throw that in the chat. So
yeah, good, because I wasn't listening at that point. I was reading the comments.
I wasn't.
Fair enough.
I usually lie when that happens. You're open about it, like, oh, nope, wasn't listening.
Oh. Happens. People don't listen to me, so.
Oh, Kenzie. Yeah, I'll put this in the chat here. Well, cool. Tyler, anything else tonight before we let you go, buddy? Brandon?
I don't think so. Thanks for having us on and giving us a platform to talk about the Pullers Championship and moving graves and things we can't talk about.
Yeah.
There you go.
We're an equal opportunity talker.
Loopholes in the pasteurized milk industry.
Yeah, there you go.
Share a cow, everybody. Share a cow.
Yeah, I like that.
Cow sharing, baby. It's all the rage.
It's all the rage. Brandon, we'll see you guys in a couple of days. Tyler, you guys, thanks for coming on tonight. This was a lot of fun.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Good luck, guys.
See you, Tyler.
Been good.
Well, that was enjoyable, guys.
Yes, it was.
We're still live, so don't say anything dumb. So I just want to give you a heads up, Kenzie, because I know you like to talk a lot. So.
Sometimes I don't think before I talk. That's the problem.
Oh, you?
Oh, I never think before I talk. Yeah.
I know Tyler really well. I've known Brandon, but never got a chance to talk. It's fun to learn about people. Like the way we did tonight. That's a lot of fun, and had a ton of you watching tonight. We appreciate you doing that. We started up the show 3 hours ago with a Bowling Green, and we had Dave Schultz on, the president of Northwest Ohio Tractor Pullers. Chris Aldridge, the owner of Toledo Aerial Media, and this coming 2025 Behind the Hook Season 3 is going to feature RJ and Brandon Simon, Kevin Masterson, and then also it's going to feature Ken Veeney. And then we talked to Clint Meeting. They have their pull in Nordheim, Texas this Friday and Saturday, May 17th and 18th. And we brought Brandon Phillips on, the Insanity Pulling Team. They're coming to the Pullers Championship, the Track and Holes Hours this Friday and Saturday as well. Did he say he'd been there all 3 years, Mike?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
He's been a fan vote all 3 years, which is a big reflection of how much people like that pulling team. 3 years in a row voted in by the fans.
We always joke about, like the second or third hour is beer money after dark. Yeah, and that definitely Stu says scary last hour. So, and then obviously Tyler Slagh. He's just a fun human being and a hell of a tractor puller as well. So good. Kenzie, what's your biggest takeaway from tonight? What did you enjoy the most about tonight's podcast?
Just talking with the pullers. I'm ready to get back into it again. It's been a long off season.
Kevin Masterson said hi to you before you said hi to him. I still love
exactly. Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Mike, what's your biggest takeaway from tonight?
stand by what I say, and it's only more confirmed after listening to him and his stories. I feel, and you can maybe back me up on this, you should either have driving talent or speaking talent. And it's really, God reached down and said to Tyler Slagh, I will give you both. He is, him and Brandon are both such good ambassadors for the sport. People who are willing to come on here, tell stories, people who get voted in by the fans, people who are entertaining. It's a lot of fun to be doing something as somewhat of a career where this is my job, to get to interact with people like that. And I think Tyler and Brandon and all the no practice guys and all these pullers that come on here with us, they do such a great job at that.
I agree. Go check out the video. It's at the Bowling Green deal, National Tractor Pulling Championship YouTube channel. And then Ulmer's posted a cool video tonight on their Sweet Pain Pulling team, everybody on their Facebook page.
Yeah.
One of their kids did a really neat, sometimes the speaking talent is too much. Courtney Don. That's Tyler's picture. Why he hasn't married her yet is to be known, but maybe she's got like a to-do list for him before they get married. I'm not sure. I know those two are perfect together. They make me smile when I see them. I'm gonna show that video if you don't mind. My Facebook page. But again, we're excited to see all of you in Nashville, Illinois this weekend. I'm going to go over this real quick. Share my screen.
We needed Larry a little bit tonight. I noticed out of force of habit several times there was like a PPL question, and you started to be like, Larry, what? Oh, nope, he's not on tonight.
He's not on tonight.
So
he had his son's baseball game. So here's a cool video that Tori Ulmer is a freshman at USF. Where is that? USF. She's double majoring in media studies and sports marketing with a minor in social media. I'm not sure. Let's just watch the video. It's all good. Is the sound on? No, it is.
The upcoming 2024 season.
My name is Craig Ulmer. This is my 30th year driving our family's 3-engine, 6,000 horsepower modified pulling tractor. Our oldest son, Ty, is 4th generation driver. We're excited for our first event in June. We'll travel about 9,000 miles, competing in 22 events, and finish the season in Lufkin, Texas in October.
The goal of truck and tractor pulling is to pull the weighted sled as far as possible. So every winter we spend trying to find more horsepower and more traction to pull that sled farther. We have a lot of work left. We only have 7 weekends left to build all of our stuff. And we're excited to go after our 9th championship.
My dad and grandpa started pulling in the 60s. My dad, Kurt, son Ty, and myself, we all 3 share the driving duties. We pride ourselves in building the engines and fabricating the great majority of the parts in our shop in Larchwood, Iowa. I have uncles and cousins that also share this passion. In the tractor pulling world, we've all become known as the Ulmer Mafia.
Our title sponsor is Richard's Repair. They're located in Larchwood, Iowa. They're a heavy-duty diesel repair shop, and we're extremely thankful for their support throughout the whole season.
We hope to see you at a pull this summer.
That's pretty cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Who do we got? We got a Cody Lewis, Mike. We're working on some of these interviews too. Who did you get this past weekend?
Yeah, and man, that's been blowing up in Northeast Missouri. So if there's anyone watching, big thank you to the pullers in Northeast Missouri and North Central Missouri that have kind of interacted with me and reached out to me. I was fortunate enough to go over to Cody Lewis's shop this past weekend. Cody Lewis, of course, drove the fired up modified 4-wheel drive truck for years and years through the late 90s and mid 2000s and 2010s. 4-time National Farm Machinery Show champion in the fired up truck. Took 11 years off to help all of his sons achieve their dreams in sports and baseball, and they are coming back. So Beer Money Pulling Team has one of the first look-ins at the newest edition of Cody Lewis from Macon, Missouri, and his fired up pulling machine. And we did a shop tour. So we're going to get a Beer Money Pulling Team cribs look at the Lewis Body Shop in Macon, Missouri. And there's some neat stuff in there. But we've had a lot of people reach out to us. The Novinger family with the Dominator deer have said that they'd be interested in doing that. Dean Carroll, who pulls the Levy Leaper and the Salt River Savage light limited super stocks are interested in doing that. And a good handful. I talked to Terry and Sheila Hagerdorn at a test and tune in Boonville. And Sheila messaged me and she said, why don't you come check our shop out too? So a lot of people have been jumping on that bandwagon, which is fun to see. Oh, Colton Whitworth called me as well, who pulls up in Unionville. He's got his 2 light supers. Kinsey, what are they called? I always forget.
Field Express and Ben
Field
Buster.
Forged. And the big one's like Field Forged or something like that.
Yeah, the big one is.
Yeah, they have a heavy super. I think Ron or Kurt said that they're going to do a diesel alky super stock shootout in Unionville this year.
Yes.
That's going to be fun. How was Boonville, Mike?
Well, the big thing is Brent Roberts. Brent Roberts was our points champion for the Pro Stock Semis in Outlaw last year. He went boom. He hooked at the test and tune, and I did get his permission. I said, can we use your video or talk about it? And he says, oh yeah, any promotion's good promotion. So sat with him for a long time and took a video of his run. He's trying a brand new turbo, and I don't think things panned out the way that they wanted to. Terry and Sheila tried out some new stuff on their secondary truck. Still getting some things tuned in there. And then, of course, a lot of local people doing their things. A lot of people. It's fun to walk around a pull with a Beer Money Pulling Team hat on when you've been on a couple of these podcasts, because people want to talk to you and they want to go pulling with you. So a lot of very enthusiastic Mid-Missouri Truck and Tractor Pullers Association pullers were there. So it was fun. Took my oldest son and just made a father-son day out of it. A lot of good core memories were made on Saturday.
Good deal.
Which truck did Brent take? Or which one did he pull?
His I thought does he have more than one? His black and green semi.
Yeah. Because I thought he had that gray one too.
I think
the gray.
Or no, that's Richard ours.
No, his is that Red International. Or not International, Ford. Oh, Richard Dart. I'm thinking of, never mind. Don't listen to me. I got you.
It's all good. It's all good. But no, the other two, there were 2 other Outlaw Pro Stock semis that showed up just as we were leaving. Braxton, my oldest son, we got there at about, 1, and stayed there for like 8 hours. And then he got a splinter in his butt sitting in the bleachers. And after a kiddo had walked around for 8 hours at a tractor pull, I think that was when he decided it was time to go home and watch some cartoons. So as we were leaving the green and the gray semi, maybe that's who you're talking about.
Yeah.
They were pulling in.
Yeah. No, good deal. No, again, we're just super excited for all of you to either partake in person in Nashville, Illinois, or enjoy the Pullers Championship live stream. Ryan Golick will be producing it. He's the one who does Ship Shawana, does a really good job. And we got 2 tracks, got over 100 hooks. Head over to the website, thepullerschampionship.com, click on the live stream, see all of our great sponsors, order a t-shirt at shopangryduck.com, click on the Pullers Championship, or stop by our Beer Money trailer and you can buy one this weekend. So, Mike, Kenzie, I'm going to bed.
Me too.
Sound good?
Sounds great.
All right, Mike, good job tonight. That was fun. Shout out again to Bowling Green and the Meddings and Tyler and Brandon, and that was fun. Really, 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 really enjoyed it. So have a good night, everybody. Thanks for watching.
See you next week.
Let's make some noise. Good running. John Deere and about deep Iowa coming up. We got one right behind you.